Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Randomizer 1. We are here live in the 2020 Spring Tournament Monte Chaos Casino, Week 4. This is the Air Week, meaning our moving dungeon incentive will be up in Mirage Tower. My name is Ilmar Zubermuller, and I am joined by Sunny. Sunny, how are we doing?
Oh, we're doing pretty well today, and so far, just right out the gate here with the party comps, this is looking to be pretty interesting, if you ask me.
Tonight we have a match between Zyrak and LordoftheSynth, both sitting at 1 and 2. This is absolutely massive because if you lose 3, you've got to win the rest just to get into the last chance qualifier. You want to run out to get 4 and 2 to be able to get into those play-in races, because that last chance qualifier is not something you want to be doing. So we're looking at some obvious party comps here. I mean, pretty standard. I mean, on LordoftheSynth side, we've got the very regular fighter rainbow party. And then on Zyrak, something a little different, going with fighter, white, black, but throwing in a thief there instead of the red mage. So what do you think of that?
Normally I would think that the thief was going to be kissing dirt for most of the game, but then I look at the black mage's name, and that makes me nervous.
Yeah, it seems interesting that he might be running. It seems that he might be running the Danning the black mage here, but you know, it could also be one of those situations where it's seems to be one of those situations where it depends on what the magic might be in the first level or two, whether it might be a white Dan or a black Dan, or if magic's really good, potentially a thief Dan as well.
Right, for most games, I do see that thief just kind of taking a nap for the entire game, but the runners are off, so we could see very quickly what's going to happen with this party composition.
So right off the hop, jumping in, looking, we've got white locked Cure 3 on black side. We've got Warp, and oh boy, there is nothing special in terms of AoE. Oof, we might be having some issues here.
Yeah, last night I had the pleasure of seeing Garland give runners a pretty good thrashing, and they had better magic than this. I think maybe we might see some early grinding.
Yeah, with your only damage spell being fire, you might see stun strats here coming out on Garland. It might be the only thing that we have. We've got sabers for $200, so that'll give the fighter something to swing, and Zyrak picked one up because that's going to be the best chance you have to do any damage, I think, at this point.
Now, there may be one hope, and that's in level 2 magic, if I'm not mistaken. They can get access to that pretty early, right?
They can jump there right now. That might actually be something to look at, given this is take a level or 2 and then going off and checking out what Provoca has to see if there's any sort of AoE sweeper. And yeah, being pointed out in chat, Zyrak threw that saber onto his thief while putting an iron hammer onto the fighter, which is better than nothing, because as soon as you put any weapon in the fighter's hands, it does a lot better.
I personally find it interesting that Zyrak did elect to give his black mage fire, but I'm not sure if Synth did or not. If they did, that'd be the first time I've seen level 1 magic cast since I started watching this.
Yeah, it's not something overly big, but here's something really useful. Actually, picked up in one of the first chests. We've got a light axe by LordoftheSynth in the bottom left TOF chest. Boy, that might actually make it a little more palatable, getting that harm 2 cast out. And there's our free canal already as well, before we can even start talking about the flag sets. We found the half-loose item, if you will. But that light axe would also be really useful for that fighter to swing. It's got some pretty good damage for this early in the game.
I do hear that is pretty good damage, but here's hoping it's enough for Synth as he goes to face Garland.
Yeah, Synth elected to keep that light axe on his white mage instead of giving it up to the fighter to swing. So See, oh, fighter down, fire's going out. And the fires are enough. Synth takes down Garland.
Well, thankfully, Garland seemed to have been made of tissue paper tonight. I would hate to have seen it be a much worse fight. The king giving the party a lute and the princess giving a chime. Very musical royal family today.
No kidding. Everything that you'd want to start a band, they just handed over. The Light Warriors are now troubadours, which is absolutely fantastic for Lord of the Synth, the man who has named his party after the Beatles. I'm sure he's happy about seeing that.
That will remind me, when did Bard become a class in Final Fantasy?
Evidently, right now. Also, iron armor for fairly cheap at $370. That'll be really, really good for that fighter. Some good absorb right off the hop. And that chime makes things very interesting because we already have our canal, we have open progression, which means that we have access to that lower level of chime with that dock being sitting outside the desert there. Now, you have no AoE magic. You've got nothing for it. There's no way you're thinking, I better get over there now, is there?
I don't think there's really any reasonable expectation we could go to Mirage this quickly, but paying a visit to our good pirate captain Vicky, that's an option.
Yeah, at this point we've got Provoca and Vicky, and even with the canal already as well, we've got access over to Crescent Lake and seeing what the lovely sages have for us. But looks like Lord of the Synth's going to do the conventional play here and make his way over. As soon as he gets past some Sahags with some glance, going to be making his way first up to Matoya to see what those 3 chests hold for us. Meanwhile,
that seems like a reasonable visit. While Zyrak is, I'm sure I'm going to say what you're going to say, Zyrak visiting the Temple of Fiends first.
Yeah, he's finishing that out, and he's equipping that light axe on that fighter. That's going to do some good swing damage for him. Ooh, good chunk of change here in Matoya, about 22k. So that's going to finance his 1 through 4 level, as well as a potential vendor item if anything comes up.
You ever wonder if anybody feels guilty about just stealing an old lady's life savings like that?
When I played this game in vanilla, I always made it a point to I would never go to Matoya's cave until after I got the crystal, and then I would make sure I took her stuff first while she was still blind. Then I would give her her eye back, because that's just the reasonable thing to do. You know, we're warriors of light, but, sometimes you gotta rob an old lady's stuff.
They're the warriors of light fingers.
Exactly. And besides, what she doesn't see, it's not hurting her. Oh, those Sahags have glance, just gonna be a problem. Just throwing out stone onto the party members. Thankfully, Synth did pick up a couple of softs, while Zyrak took care of Garland in pretty quick order with that light axe and fire, picking up his loot and chime.
To be fair, Zyrak did spend quite a fair amount of time grinding on Imps and Grimps, so he had a pretty good level advantage compared to Lord of the Synth.
Yeah, he's already up to like 4 or 5, I believe, at this point. Here we see silver swords for $1,600. That's not too bad. That'll give your knight something to swing if you don't want to move that light axe over.
I am much more interested to see what our magic is. It looks like black magic has fast and saber, which is completely reasonable as far as I'm concerned.
Great for late game stuff, but still making you feel a little sore right now, not having a good AoE.
Cure 4, exit, heal 3. I'm not really liking this magic purely because there's so much good white magic in one slot.
Yeah, that's a lot of really good stuff. That's, although the really great thing about Cure 4 being where it is, though, is that's Knight learnable. So once that Knight promotes, a Knight with Cure 4 can absolutely save you.
And I think Lord of the Synth is probably going to be a little bit happier than Zyrak is to find all that white magic, since Lord of the Synth has a red mage and Zyrak does not.
Yeah, that's going to put a lot of the toll on that white mage on Zyrak's side to take care of everything. And here we're going to start the long, slow process of beating up pirates, because, as we've said, no enough in AoE to be able to take care of this, so it's going to be one at a time. While Zyrak joining us over here, he's going to be going through, checking out his magic, finding out that, yeah, fast is useful, but nothing that's going to really kill everything for us. We got to really hope that there's something big at level 3 or 4, or magic can be a real problem.
He's picking up sleep too. That is a play I would make, even, I mean, I don't have any experience, but putting things to sleep, they can't hit you if they're snoring.
Yeah, definitely in the early part of the game, it could be a little bit useful. Once we get anywhere towards the mid or later, magic defense just tends to.
There's a crystal from Bicky. Looks like we're going to be revisiting Matoya very quickly.
Yeah, no, this will save Zyrak a little bit of time, as he didn't make that check right away, so he won't have to double dip it. But I mean, on Synth side, it's not a big deal, because he did get that big chunk of change out of there, and was hoping he'd be able to spend a little bit of it already. Picks up a bunch of cabins. Nothing overly big here in Provoca, though, to really help with anything, so we really gotta hope Elfland has some good stuff for us.
Me being the annoying kind of individual I am, I always hope for a massive trade chain. Just go adamant into TNT, into crystal, into all that good nonsense, just to get something like a floater. I love to troll like that.
You know what, though? It's got its advantages when you do it on this, because on these seeds, you're getting an extra 5% experience for every key item. So, especially in the early game, if you're getting a few key items in a big fetch chain quest, that can be really useful for later on to be able to start making up some levels with a little bit of a quicker grind with that XP bonus.
Nothing wrong with the extra XP. Lord of the Synth using a cabin. Now, for people like me who don't have a whole lot of experience, what is the actual difference between a tent, a cabin, and a house?
Tent gives you about 30 experience or 30 health per character. Cabins give you somewhere around 60-ish health per character when you save. And a house, I believe now it's been, oh boy, that turns into a Thor's Hammer, which is our best AoE, I guess, which is good. Whereas a house will give you your magic charges back, as well as, I believe it's now been patched to give full health on the houses, or if not in the regular game, I think it's 100 health per house. But the big thing with houses is they give their magic charges back, whereas tents and cabins do not replenish magic charges.
And all of them let you save in the field, correct?
Yeah, they all have the same saving properties. You can either hard or soft reset off of them, depending on what the encounter table looks like for you if you want. But it's really just about the health regen between them, and then the house having the added benefit of the MP regeneration.
All right, that is very useful information to know. On the topic of that Thor Hammer, I think that's the only AoE we've actually got at this point, so any port in a storm.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's not one of those things that you're hoping for per se, but given the fact that we've seen nothing out of any of the slots, it's very useful, given the seed start we've been given with magic at this point. It's not something you'd be turning your nose up at this point for sure.
With absolutely almost zero offensive abilities in the slots 1 and 2 for magic, I would think you really would be hoping for Thor or Zeus or a black shirt.
Yes, any sort of AoE sweeper at this point is absolutely required. We got a dwarf check out of Lord of the Synth. We've got 2 cabins and treasure chests, because everyone knows the proper place to store camping equipment is inside of the box.
That seems completely reasonable to me. This is a new game I like to play. How many times will they visit dwarves?
Yeah. So far, we're looking at least 2. I mean, there's always the possibility of the quadruple dip, everyone's favorite, where you have to go back once for TNT, once for Adamant, and then that final time to clear out the key chests. I mean, that always feels really great.
So, as we're moving on, what is the next item you really hope to see?
Personally, I like Canoe. Canoe opens up, especially already having that canal found. Canoe opens up Volcano, it opens up Ice, it opens up Ordeals, it opens up the Oasis, as we haven't seen our vendor item. Here we've got level 3 Black, we've got, oh boy, Sap and Cake. Oh, jeez. That big AoE damage is just not coming. Really good for Fade here.
This magic is just not happy at all.
And
Ama, Fear, and Invis. This is not great at all.
And that Invis is white locked, but you know, even then, even if it was red and night learnable, it's not making you feel the best.
Oh, Life 2, yes.
Life 2, there we go. That's definitely required. Wall also very good, and honestly, that Harm 4 would be spectacular.
Now, if you're Lord of the Synth, you're probably a lot happier than Zyrax seeing all that for white magic, because we had the level 2 stuff, which was loaded. We got the level 4 stuff, which is loaded. He's got a red mage and a white mage, as opposed to a white mage and a thief.
Yeah, I am almost 100% positive in saying when Zyrax gets down here, he is going to be making that black mage its namesake and danning it, because the first 4 levels of black magic are awful. He's gonna have to melee carry so hard. That thief is gonna be way more valuable swinging something than this black mage ever will. Oh man, this is one where you're thinking, why did I not bring a black belt to just punch everything? And that's why, children, you always bring a black belt.
So do you bring the black belt instead of the fighter or the thief?
I would instead of the thief. I'm always, personally, anytime I play, it's always fighter black belt, white mage, black mage, but that's me. I'm a big fan of the black belt for this exact reason, where as soon as things don't roll the way you want, you can absolutely... And here, our first big sweeper is at level 5 with Ice 3. You know, yeah. This is a situation...
to see that.
Yeah. This is a situation where actually Zyrax might actually be have a better party comp, because he can have 2 people that he can start buffing up in that fighter and thief to start swinging. And in the randomizer, there is adjusted hit accuracy for these thieves, so they actually build twice the amount of hit accuracy in this than they do in vanilla, which means they get to, you know, 4 or 5 hits on weapons around level 14 to 17 as opposed to the late 20s. So once they start getting into the mid to late 20s, which is where you usually are at the end game, something like Mass is swinging for 6 hits, which on a thief you throw fast, which we have, which will be ninja learnable if you can promote, and that thief can do some real good things.
If you can promote seems to be a big if. That tail sometimes just hides out wherever it's going to hide.
Given this magic, given what's happened, I don't think you can not promote. You would have to get so many items. This party comp without the magic and AoE that they have, this is almost a promotion required seed. Here we've got Lord of the Synth jumping into Crescent Lake. We're going to see what the people standing around in a circle have for us. They call them sages. Oh, we've also got our vendor item of adamant for just over 11k. So there's going to be trip number 2 to dwarfs.
So what are we hoping for? What are we hoping for as viewers, not as players? Do we hope that there's some lazy dwarves, or do we hope that the TNT is hiding elsewhere in the world?
Oh, as viewers, you want it hiding somewhere else, that you're doing the 3-4 trip. Now, also as viewers, I think I want to see Cube here.
Level 6 Nuke.
Yeah, that's not going to get many uses.
And also Fade not in level 6. That means it's either level 7 or 8. That white mage's just not going to be doing much attacking.
No, it's pretty much harm 4 or bust from them at this point. We've got Bottle, which is 100% useless to us at this point in time. Great, we can open up and go visit the ferry in Gaia. Oh, wait, we can't fly there yet.
Those old men just looking at this party and going, "Here, we found this for a young man in green. Please take it."
Yeah, it's pretty much just, yeah. We don't know what to do with this, you know. You can't use it either, so thanks for saving the world, bye.
It was just hanging around collecting dust, and the fairy seems a little annoyed at that.
It's always one of those things I always love. Like in the vanilla game, it makes sense because the guy in the caravan is selling it. He wants to make a profit. But in a randomizer, you just gotta think to yourself, like, come on, dude, why are you keeping that fairy trapped? You're not selling it for anything. Be nice.
Well, I mean, really, it's a product. Somebody went through the trouble of catching the thing, and then you went and bought it for whatever reason. So, I mean, you really got to turn a profit after a point. It's not going to grant you a wish if you let it loose.
It might. They don't know. They don't know yet. All I'm saying is fairy abuse goes on too much in this game.
Hey, fairies have a long-standing history of running off the second they're let loose.
That's true. They brought it upon themselves. That's right. And both of them are kind of, they're not trying to grind. They're just getting a lot of weird encounters that, like, there's a lot of encounters. The peds are unrunnable, which is usually something you want to see, but you don't want to, cobras have rub. You don't want to see all these encounters when you have nothing to kill them with, though. Thor's hammer. Thor's hammer is great, but it's the probability of it taking out peds on one roll is, those peds would have to roll right down to the minimum 43%.
We saw Synth trying to use Cake on the peds, but it just did not want to work really well. Has a downed red mage. I wonder if that's on purpose or is just going to be hanging out in the Deadlands.
It got punched, and I think Synth is absolutely bored of trying to run. He's tried like 7 times to run from Crescent to his ship, and he's just going to be like, no, you can stay dead. I'm not doing this run one more time.
Zarak pulling his bottle. I always wonder, why are these guys standing in a circle holding a bottle?
Makes a lot more sense when the confused old men is on and they're wandering about and they have a bottle. That answers questions for you.
I wonder what was in that bottle with the fairy.
Oh, yeah. So now we've got some interesting things to look at. We really only have access to a couple of places at this point in time. We can do the first 2 floors of Mirage where there's chests. We can do the first 3 floors of Earth or Marsh.
Could this possibly be a nightmare situation where you have to go dip Mirage to get the rod and get like cube out of Earth and go back to Sky to pull something else to go somewhere else entirely?
A couple of races ago that I called, it was pretty much exactly that. It was, you went from like you had to go to Earth to get Oxyale, and before that you had to like double dip like something like to get like to have to go to Sky to be able to get to Earth to then get Oxyale to go to Sea to get something. It was absolutely hilarious, like, and all of it without a floater that they played, where they had to do the whole thing just sailing back and forth. So if this happens again, I'm just gonna admit that it's my fault by being the commentator.
So my bets are on something really worthwhile being in Marsh.
It's the closest check. I mean, the positive side is you have exit, So you can do the top floor check. There's nothing there. You reset out, and then when you're doing the bottom floor check, you can easily just go about and exit out once you've done everything. But as everyone knows, no one wants to do Marsh because Marsh is Marsh. There's way too many enemies in there. There's always something's going to have rolled a nasty part of the script. Probability says something's going to be there that's going to kill you.
Now, I have noticed some tendencies for these seeds. I've noticed that there's usually two outcomes. Either the seed's extremely generous and Kraken 2 has been to the gym, or the seed is hard, but all the fiends in Topher are tissue paper.
Yeah, it seems you hate seeing when it happens all at the same time. There is the other option of somebody grinding a bunch of money, or Lord of the Synth hoping he finds money and buying that adamant, because that could turn into our progression that we need at this point as well.
With the luck these guys are having right now, that adamant is going to turn into something like Power Bonk.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, it's going to be a Power Bonk. Good, but not what you're hoping for.
Looks like Zyrak is grinding out in front of... I still don't know the names of the cities. I don't know where that is.
That's in front of Crescent there with the sages. That's right where... Oh gosh, Bones have thunder. There it is. There's the terrible thing in Marsh that's going to kill us. I wonder if Zyrak is grinding this to get cash, because there are some pretty good cash. There are some pretty good cash fights in this to get that.
Did I just see a spider with heal 2?
I just missed that.
That spider has heals too. There are healing spiders in Marsh.
Yeah, that's every arachnophobe's nightmare right there. Yeah, and gargoyles have crack. Oh boy. Getting these chests in Marsh is gonna be just awful. Gargoyles tend to come in big packs as well in Earth. Them with crack, it's just going to be not fun.
It's not going to be the fiends that stop our runners today. It's just going to be everything in between them and the fiends.
That's right. Question in chat. Pro rings do not resist crack, right? That's correct. Pro rings do not. Crack is an Earth elemental spell, and the only thing in the game that resists Earth is a ribbon. Unfortunately, Zyrak looks like he's having some issues being able to finish off this pack, and hopefully he doesn't take... Oh no, he resets out. I think he saved not too long ago, so it should be okay. Meanwhile, Synth clearing out the rest of the topside chests here.
So far, I don't think he's found anything super amazing. A little bit of pocket change, but not much else.
No, nothing in the first chest either. I think it was like a silver shield or something in the first chest. It was nothing big. These two chests here, cabin and Aegis shield. Aegis shield, nice. I'd exit out with that. That's the best shield that a fighter promoted knight can equip. It's got good absorb, couple of resistances. Call it the poor man's ribbon with the knight. If you can get the dragon armor, Aegis shield, and pro rings, you've got protection for 5 or 6 of the elements outside of, I believe it's time and earth are the only things you wouldn't have resistance to. There's those gargoyles again, making sure that... oh, and here's some bones. Oh, thankfully he gets first strike.
So what spell is it that the Light Axe casts?
The Light Axe casts harm 2, so anything that's undead is... anything that's undead gets beat by it. So it's great against the bones, the wraiths, any of those undead packs, but not going to do much in that group formation to those crawls, unfortunately. So this is one where you fire off that light axe. Everything here is undead. Everything will die to it. Should die to it. Get
I
a
would
few
actually be
in.
extremely fascinated to see what kind of spells and skills those ghouls rolled, because those are very often not fun.
I also just noticed there were pro rings there in on-rack for super cheap, which is real nice to find. Or in a Crescent, not on-rack. Jeez.
The only problem is it seems like the money situation is a little bit tight in general. I don't think I've seen anybody go over 5 digits very much, if at all.
No, it's pretty much every time Zyrak gets cash, he spends it on a pro ring, gets cash, spends it on a pro ring. He did, however, spend to purchase the adamant, so he's going to be able to turn that in, and there's those bones with thunder telling Lord of the Synth, don't go in that room. But he's going to try and clear out this bottom side.
I admire his tenacity. He's reset out of the marsh at least a good 10 times now, I think.
Yeah, he's starting to get up there. This is that point where you're going, you know, I really hope I'm making the right play, because if he does get through all this and clears everything out and finds out there's nothing there, ooh, he's going to feel super behind.
Looks like Zyrak's feeling a little bit stoned right now.
That's those Glancehags. Oh, he's got a party full of statues. That's interesting. Yeah. It's unfortunate that Zyrak hadn't saved either for a while. Oh no, he got ambushed by Lord of the Synth, got ambushed by both. Jeez, Crawls rolled 10 hits. That is a good thing they don't have any touch effects, or that would be absolute death.
And those Arbones surviving that light mace or light axe, I'm not liking where this is going, because they could cast that thunder at any time.
Thankfully, it was the regular bones that had the thunder. I don't know I don't think we've seen anything out of the R bones yet. R bones always seem to roll super high on HP in this randomizer. It's one of the enemies that's just, I don't understand why. Just seems like certain things always get rolled more often than not.
It looks like we got every arachnophobe's nightmare in front of one of the chests.
Yeah, that would be the vanilla wizard tile, which is, in the normal game, a little bit of a scary tile, because wizards tend to hit hard.
And there's a ribbon! That's going to be good news for that fighter who keeps going down.
Oh, that's going...
White mage, even better.
Yeah, that's going on that white mage who will have access to life 2 in the very, very near future. That'll keep them upright through those cracks and everything.
A giant sword going on the red mage. That seems reasonable.
Yeah, better than... I didn't notice what he had taken off. Whoa, Zyrak making the super call to do a very early Mirage check here. Oh, let's see what happens.
That is a very bold strategy. Let's see if it pays off.
Yes, indeed. Meanwhile, Lord of the Synth getting attacked here again by these bones. Boy, he's got one chest left to check before he's done with all this. Oh, and they cast thunder. Oh, but their ribbon saves them. Oh, no, not quite. All he had was that top right room in Marsh to get that one single chest.
He didn't pop out to save when he got that ribbon, did he?
No, he didn't. On the plus side, he knows where that is. There's really only 2 chests he's gonna want down here. The one being the incentivized chest behind those arachnids. And oh, we've got a loose herb here in Mirage. So this play...
And a katana.
Oh, that's fantastic for when he promotes, which I think is going to be 100% required.
I think that maybe the Mirage Dip was the right choice the entire time.
The seed threw you a canal in Temple of Fiends and a chime right off the start. You know, sometimes you gotta listen to the seed, but everyone knows if you've played this enough, sometimes the seed just likes telling you to do things just to laugh at you. Ragnarok saying herb to cube to have to come back? Ah, of course, why not?
No. It's gonna be herb to ruby to slab to cube because we really like seeing these long chains.
Well, that slab would unfortunately still be useless to us without anything being able to fly over there.
It would actually be really interesting to me if the cube was just kind of hanging out in the Mirage area.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I mean, if that second roost is here in Mirage, that makes Zyrak's life a lot easier, because then he knows 100% for sure where everything is. Okay, the Lord of the Synth has a decision now. He now has cleared out every single chest, and he's cleared out every chest, and the only thing he needs out of this is in that incentive crown chest in vanilla. He better just be going in here and getting that ribbon and then exiting out. He's trying anything else, and I don't even know if I'd be trying it at this point. I don't know if the ribbon is that valuable. Question in chat about if exit was learnable for red. Yeah, everything, it was level 2, and everything in level 2 is learnable by both red mage and promoted knight once it upgrades.
If I were Synth right now, I would probably just put that ribbon on a back burner, come back for it if I thought I needed it, because at least I know where it's at. Dragon armor from Zyrak's side, though, so that fighter turning into a knight's gotta be attractive. Defense sword, too.
Oh, there's a whole bunch. Oh,
and the Zeus gauntlet.
More AoE.
Zyrak's gotta be thinking he's made the right call, because he did.
Oh yeah, this is 100%. And I mean, the value of the ribbon even is mitigated a bit, because we've already seen wall as well. So I mean, if you really need it, you just cast wall. It has the same effect. Oh, Synth, just bail, man. You just gotta bail.
To be perfectly fair, just last night I got to see somebody beating their head against the wall in Ice Cave for longer than this, and they came back and won. So, I mean, this could still go Synth's way.
Absolutely, but the longer he sits here doing this, the more time he's seeding. I mean, he still hasn't looked to pick up cash. He knows that, he at least knows that adamant exists in Crescent, so he can always go and buy that and check it out, Oh, at this point, knowing 100% he's cleared everything, knowing 100% that there is no progression here, I think he's going to be mashing this exit button so fast after he pulls this ribbon out of the chest.
I'm not sure what kind of item would be worth all this pain unless it was just absolutely progression, but even then, you could still leave, turn in something, and come back.
Yeah, there's he's not exiting. Why are you going back? What are you looking for? There's nothing here. You've picked everything up. What are you doing? Synth, no, there's crack coils, there's thunderbones. Come on, you could. Synth, your chat is absolutely confused. We're all confused.
Why would you do this? What would compel somebody to come back down here? Does he need the money that badly?
Was there enough money anywhere to justify this?
I thought I saw something for 5,000, but that's about the size of it. That's not worth it.
He's gotten really lucky so far that he has not run into either bones or those gargoyles yet. At least he's getting spiders, he's getting arachnids, he's getting mucks.
That is not an at-least thing at all, because those spiders have heal.
Time waste more than anything, but okay, so for $5,000, he checked a chest that I'm 90% sure he checked already.
He knew that chest had $5,000. That's got to be the only reason.
That's got to be thinking I need to buy that adamant and this. Let's get closer, but you can grind in front of Crescent for like 3 fights, and you can pick up $5,000 easy. Giants are worth a ton of money.
That just wasn't worth it at all.
No,
for that $5,000, you could get a face full of crack.
Yeah, and then you're doing this all again. And ogres have squint. Is every bad thing already rolled in the first, like, 5 things? I don't know, but... Jeez. It seems like all the early level enemies...
This is a very, very rough early game. No good magic. Enemies having just instant death after instant death. I would not want this. This is a hell seed.
Yeah, so far this is not a good start.
Also, no canoe to be found yet, so our options are still very limited.
Well, we've got an herb. We've got an herb, and we've got the potential of that adamant, and that's about the only things we've got to be able to get any progression.
I think Synth forgot where that adamant is. I know he's the first one who saw it, but looks like he's looking for it.
Well, we're about to see what this herb turns into here. Prince's attendant says you can wake up now, and we've got a canoe. Alright, there's some good progression. Finally, things are open, we can go and do things.
Yeah, that was a very good turn in. Makes me wonder what the heck is behind that adamant, though. I really hope we're going to find that out for Synth, at least.
So, now there is that adamant if you are Zyrak, and you're a heck of a lot closer if you just pull into the river tile here on the right and canoe over. It looks like what Zyrak's going to do is he's going to jump over here and then paddle his way over to Crescent and buy that adamant. Then I wonder, does he chase that adamant? Does he go to ice? Does he think volcano? I mean, we could still use some equipment, particularly a decent weapon to swing. I mean, light axe is good, but it's not great. Armory play might make sense.
The scary thing is, if you're Synth, do you even consider dipping Mirage?
Yeah, he's had a rough go with a lot of things. Maybe he's thinking because since everything horrible happened in Mirage, that maybe, or in Marsh, that Mirage must be easier and safer.
Well, we know that's where the world opens up, is you basically have to dip Mirage to get that canoe.
Yeah, that's the big play is making your way over there.
It's also got amazing equipment in, like, the Zeus Gauntlet. It's got, what else was in there? Dragon armor,
dragon
defense
armor,
sword.
defense sword. Yeah, there were a lot of good things that were over there. It'll be interesting to see what his plan is. Meanwhile, Zyrak picked up that adamant, and now he is going to... Let's deal with some Hydras and Ochos first. Run away. And he's going back to his ship, so that's going to mean that he's going to be chasing that adamant. Zyrak's going to go turn that in and see what the blacksmith has for us.
Now, if Adamant does turn into Cube, that could be Synth's cue to go right into Mirage. Because not only could you check Mirage, you could check the upper levels of Sky, find that Sky Week incentive chest, and see what's going on there.
Yeah, no, that'll open up a bunch of things. The worst case scenario, I think, for Lord of the Synth is if this adamant equals floater, then Zyrak is going to be miles ahead.
I hate to break it to you, but I think Zyrak is already miles ahead.
He might be kilometers ahead at this point. I'm Canadian, so when we stretch to miles, we really mean they're ahead.
And the adamant becomes a rod.
Alright, I mean, good, required, one of the 6 items needed to beat the game. So, definitely needed at some point. Boy, there's a lot of stuff open now, though. You've got all of Earth, you've got all of Fire, you've got Ice, you've got ordeals. Where are you thinking you're going? I mean, Earth is not going to be fun. We've seen Bones with Thunder, we've seen Gargoyles, which can come in numerous packs. In Earth with Crack. It looks like Zyrak's headed towards Earth.
I don't think Zyrak's been in Marsh yet, so for all he knows, something really good is hiding in Marsh.
You don't have don't have the ruby there. Canoe came, question JLo, he found Canoe, where was it? Canoe came from Herb, and that Herb was on first floor of Mirage.
Yeah, so that Mirage dip is what just catapulted Zyrak way out.
Yeah, that was a big play, and he's gonna try. I wonder if this is just a first floor check, or if this is gonna be a full go. I think even he's debating, is this a first floor check or gonna be a full clear? The other thing is there are a few good trap tiles here as well. Check out the trap tiles, see if there's anything that you can grind on, because levels might be the biggest thing.
God, I do not want anything to do with those spiders. Seriously, this is the kind of thing that would give me arachnophobia, is spiders that regenerate. You try and squish them, they just keep coming back.
Yeah, you better hope you kill them in one go or it's bad news. Giants on that trap tile.
A little bit of chump change out of the chest. Very, very not worth dealing with giants for.
No. We're gonna check out the bottom side here. First gonna get hit by some mummies.
Mummies with cremate, apparently.
The love just keeps on coming from all the enemies with all the fantastic scripts that we've been seeing so far.
Who rolled this seed again?
Yeah, that's a good question. What's that? Oh yeah, that would be our lovely restreamer Gouda. So let's give some shout outs to Gouda. All love can go towards Gouda. And while we're at it, let's give a big shout out to our tracker, Burt Reynolds. Tonight he's behind the scenes, making sure we know what's going on, keeping us on our toes. So everyone say hi to Burt and Gouda. Alright, Synth picks up his rod. Now, oh boy, that opens up a lot more options for him, and his proximity says to him that, doing Earth might be the right thing, when we know, unfortunately, the correct play is taking a little bit of a longer go to the chime, so...
Yeah, if I'm Synth, I'm definitely following the rod, because you just don't know about the chime.
You're right there. It's really close. It's better, it's better to deal with given your levels. I could see him going to Earth, which is unfortunate. Nothing found on the top floor of Earth.
Nothing but pain and death.
And
lots of death.
There's those cracked gargoyles. I think that's the first time Zyrak's seen them, because he didn't have the fun in Marsh that Synth did.
Oh yeah, Zyrak gets to see a lot of this for the first time. The cracked gargoyles, the healing spiders. I'm just waiting for the Thunderbones to come along and play him a little tune. Yeah,
there's just some fantastic things that are coming up for him here that he's going to find out very quickly. Not to mention Rub Cobras. I mean, Rub has got to be the most bizarre spell in the game. I swear to God, when you cast Rub, it always feels like it's a 3 and 256 to hit an enemy. But when an enemy casts Rub on you, at least 50-50.
And apparently they have sleep after Rub. I mean, sleep on a Cobra makes sense. They do the whole swaying hypnosis thing. I'll take sleep on a Cobra.
Yeah. It's better than the alternative. Alright, here's Zyrak going down to second floor here, and Lord of the Synth joining him here in Earth as well. I mean, it makes sense given the proximity play. It's just unfortunate. It's just unfortunate that we know it's not the correct play at this time.
Now, to be completely fair, it could be a correct play, just not the correct play. Oxyel could be in here. We could find the floater, we could find the tail, we could find a ruby. We could find a lot of things. Now, granted, the tail wouldn't be fantastically useful without the floater, but, I mean, it could be a loose item.
Yeah, finding that second loose would be huge, especially for Zyrak. Then he'd have both he would have both loose, and he'd be able to check chests at his whim whenever he feels like it. You know, what do I want to check? What do I not want to check? What can I go mode? What do I not have to go mode? You know, but for Synth, he hasn't, not going to Mirage yet, hasn't found that first. So, you know, finding a second loose though, and in Synth's case, finding one of the loose items, that'd be useful, at least for him to start narrowing down some things.
I can't help but think that Zarak is hoping to find a key. That would be like my dream find in this situation.
For him, I think finding any second loose would be huge. I mean, like I said, that then means you found all your loose items. You can just focus strictly on incentive locations. You know your progression's going to come from there, and you don't have to worry about looking for anything beyond incentive locations. You can really put your foot on the gas and finish the seed out.
But given how rough things have been, do you really stop looking for things like Ixcal and Masa?
An endgame sword is probably the only real thing that, you know, maybe a second ribbon. He's got dragon armor. He's got a defense sword.
Has Zarak actually found a ribbon yet, or is Synth the only one?
Oh, no, that's right. Yeah, Synth had the ribbon. My mistake. Yeah, so he's going to be opening chests till he finds at least one of those. Pretty much just money here in Earth Cave. Lich apparently has just been storing the world's wealth. Now, outside of that, it's iron this, cheap that. But man, lots of cash here. 65k cash in between everything at this point.
We here at the Bank of Gaia value your safety, so we throw all of your money in a cave with a lich to guard it. Not to mention a bunch of mummies, asps, and spiders. No one will ever touch your money, including you.
That's right, you won't be able... Withdrawals not accepted. Deposit only.
And Synth taking a wipe. Looks like those cobras a little more dangerous than I might have given him credit for.
He just cast Rub enough times. Like I said, it feels like the worst spell when you cast it, but it just feels like it always hits you. Second Light Axe found here. That's gonna make some undead packs a lot more palatable to deal with. 2 casts of that harm too. Both your fighter and your thief can be throwing those.
Now, speaking of items that cast spells, do those spells run off the character stats, or do they have a set stat that they run off of?
Spells run off of set stats, so the game is kind of funny in the sense that you would think that, like, okay, you know, a black mage should be able to cast and do more damage with a spell than a red mage can, but the spells all have their own individual set of damage values. So, like, Nuke can roll anywhere from 100 to 400. You know, it doesn't matter who's casting that, whether that be a ninja, a red mage, or a black mage. It's just a complete roll off of, you know, where does it land on that. Which is kind of funny that those stats don't seem to matter, like who's casting that spell. It's just each spell has its own individual stat based into it.
Huh. The more you know.
Yeah. I would assume at some point that will get... You know, that's one of those things that... in the original vanilla game, there were actually a lot of stats that did absolutely nothing. Like, luck was useless. It didn't matter what someone's luck was. They could still... Their chance to run away or not run away meant nothing. That got patched in the randomizer, where characters with higher luck chances had better chances to, you know, not get ambushed, to get first strikes, better run chances, things like that. I wonder if that's something in the future where those intelligent stats and such will actually play a role in affecting the damage done by those spells.
Something I do know is that in the vanilla version, a weapon's critical modifier was actually based off its index number, and that was actually a glitch that they kept throughout all the remakes because it was just so random and integral that people expected it. That's been fixed in the randomizer, right?
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, in the original game, Masamune was like, it wasn't even close. It was far and away the best weapon, had the best base damage, just because it was listed as number 1. It would crit the most, everything about it. Black Shirt, find another. Thank God our AoE has come from casting items at this point, because it sure as heck isn't coming from our mages.
This is kind of why I was asking about that, because now everybody can throw AoEs out. You just throw the Black Shirt on somebody, the couple of light axes, you got the Zeus Gauntlet, you got Thor. Everybody can AoE all day long.
Yeah. But yeah, in the randomizer, they've fixed this so that there are actual percentages of weapons critical hits. So like the Vorpal in the original game, I think has a crit chance. It's like 10 or 12% or something like that. In this, it's been buffed because it's supposed to be a weapon that's not high damage, but is a high crit damage or a high crit chance weapon. So it's been patched properly to be at 30%. Same thing like with the katana, that it's got a high crit chance, but also has a better base damage. Massa doesn't have the same crit chance of Vorpal or katana, so it adds some dimensions to things where, you know, if you're running into an enemy that has really high absorb, higher crit weapons do better because critical hits ignore absorb and evade. They just say, nope, this is the damage you're taking. Here you go. Don't care about it. So critical hits become really, really important. And that's when crit chances on things are more important.
So speaking of things like absorb, it looks like Lord of the Synth went jewelry shopping, picked up a few silver bracelets.
Best armor we've seen for our mage is going to make them a little less squishy. Well, something he needs at this point in time for sure.
And I know that Count Dracula down there on Earth had a iron hat in his closet, so that really wasn't worth much.
Yeah, the crit skip absorb. It does the crit. Yeah, thank you, Simple Sarah, for elaborating on that. The damage that is accrued after the critical hit, I believe, gets tacked on properly. It's the damage that would occur prior to the critical hit damage that still gets affected by the absorb. I believe that's how it works now, because I think in the game it still didn't really care all that much. If there's a dev who knows the exact numbers, that would be awesome. Meridian, where are you when we need you?
So it's looking like, aside from that Black Shirt, there really hasn't been anything in Earth but a bunch of pocket change and random bits of rusty junk.
Yeah, there's been some money, there's been a Black Shirt, and there's been a whole lot of nothing else. So we're gonna get a look at Lich here, though. We'll see what he's got.
He's usually a speed bump, but given how everything else has been acting here lately, he might actually be a challenge.
Yeah, that at this point, of course. And the first thing he does is throw out Blizzard, instantly killing our Black Mage. Oh boy.
But he goes down to a Thor and a Harm 4, so at least there's that.
God, he had no HP, and that got a decent Harm 4 roll. That was lucky, because if he got a couple more turns with that, with a skill list like that off the hop, we could have been in trouble.
Still kind of unlucky that the Black Mage went down. Means no experience for him for that fight, right?
Yeah, and I mean, at this point, I don't even know if I'd have brought him back, to be honest. His value is so minimal at this point with the unfortunate magic we've seen. You could ignore. I don't know if I'd have brought him back up. I'd have just left him dead.
Now, from a new player's perspective, not thinking about like 3 or 2-man strats, I would definitely bring him back right then, because I know that Nuke is level 6, and if I can promote, then suddenly the Black Mage becomes useful again. That's my newbie mindset for that.
There is the thought of that, but there's also, in order to get enough Nuke casts where you're going to be getting, more than 4, 5 Nuke charges on that, you're going to have to be getting into the high 20s to early 30s to have a lot of charges at that level. And that experience, I think, at this point would be better funneled to that fighter, and particularly that thief. This is going to be a melee carry for sure. And the more you can start carrying into, the more you can start doing melee damage and getting those two buffed up, I think the better off you're going to be.
Zyrak and Synth both just kind of taking their time. I'm wondering if they're comparing their notes or checking a map to figure out where the heck they need to be, because we know that Earth is worthless except for the Earth Orb, which can be grabbed any time later down the road.
Yeah, I mean, and Zyrak full cleared Earth, and he's having a long think about what's going on and what he wants to do at this point. I'm not sure what he's looking to do or where he's looking. He's having a real hard think about where he has to go and what he has to do. Does he not know he has canoe? He's used his canoe.
He's got to know he's got canoe. He's probably not thinking about it really hard, because the next logical play would be volcano, right?
Well, we're being told he's having SRL issues. That's okay.
Ew.
Where are you going, though? Those issues have, unfortunately, may have gotten to him a bit here. All right, here he goes. Back on the right path now. So we've got access to ice. We've got access to our deals. We've got access to volcano. Where are you thinking?
If I have a list of places that I can go, I probably go ordeals, just because that seems like a relatively simple place to go if I've got warp.
We've got level 1 warp, so we can be busting through those pillars pretty quickly. But it looks like the direction he's going to be docking over to the right, possibly, and going towards volcano ice area here. Yeah, that looks like what he's doing.
Ice also seems pretty reasonable. It's also a relatively short place that can potentially just be a giant loot pinata.
Yeah, there's always that. Ice is another one of those where there's a lot of different enemies, so it always feels like something in there's ended up rolling a terrible script. But I mean, we've seen a lot of bad scripts already. There can't be that many more out there, right? Right?
Yeah, sure. We definitely won't be running into anything throwing nuclear at us.
No. The Nucatrisses that I've seen like 2 or 3 times in this tournament totally can't make another appearance.
Speaking of nuke.
Yep, there's that level 6 nuke. You know, I'll wait until I think level 6 is like...
Picking a mute, that's an interesting choice. I don't think I've ever seen mute cast.
Yeah, that's pretty much a Hail Mary play on something, I think. I don't know if I've ever used it in my entire life in this game.
To be fair, I've seen plenty of fiends where I'm thinking, oh man, if only you had mute and it worked on bosses. I don't know if it works on bosses or not.
The only boss that's sort of that doesn't have resistance to status and those types of effects is Carrie. So she can be stunned, she can be confused, she can be affected by those types of things. But outside of that, the other bosses have resistances to the status element, so it wouldn't really work on them. But if you want to mute Carrie, I mean, there's a chance that can go.
That can only go well when she hits as hard as Kraken too sometimes.
Yeah, that's one of the great things about the randomizer. Is Carrie can roll like 7-8 hits and hit for a ton with that. And yeah, throwing out a Confuse is always the best, because Confuse causes an enemy to attack itself with Fire 1, and there's something great about Carrie attacking herself with Fire 1. It's just great.
I see mention of Cure 4 Grimps in chat. Yeah, those are awesome, but so are Heal 2 Spiders. Those are even more awesome.
Just big time wasters. Alright, we got a Volcano Armory check.
With that kind of chest density, there's got to be something. I don't care if it's a max loot, a max roll gold chest, or what, but there's got to be something in here. Nothing on the ground, unfortunately.
Oh, money. Is there something besides money in these chests? Jeez Louise.
We here at the Bank of Gaia have extended our branches to the volcano. Please throw your money in and walk away.
There was not a single thing in those chests outside of money in the armor.
There was a soft. There was one soft.
Yeah, that's... Ooh, arc oils have glare. More things that'll kill us instantly.
Because the seed wasn't bad enough. I hope this means that Topher is just going to be a cakewalk.
You're gonna see Argoyles, and you can see Argoyles and Topher. By that time, you should have Pro Rings and MDef to deal with that. God, just
sorcerers with poison, with damage poison.
Yeah, poison touch on them there. Yeah, sorcerers are annoying.
Oh,
that just
this volcano is painful to watch now.
See, the unfortunate about the only good thing that poison does is give us fantastic sound effects. Alright, Synth finishing out the last couple of floors of Earth here.
At least he thinks he is.
Yeah, provided he doesn't run into more bones or gargoyles or, anything.
I mean, how bad could it really be? I mean, just wipe before you get to Lich, or, God forbid, you take a step after Lich and then you get completely steamrolled and you have to do the entire thing over?
Oh, that's the worst. The post-Fiend fight, like, 2 steps you have to take to light the orb, and all of a sudden you're getting encounters. It's happened. I've literally had it happen to me, where I have killed someone and you make the mistake once where you forgot to heal up and you get attacked by something right there in that room and you wipe and it feels horrible.
Zarak actually pulling something relatively worthwhile for once, finding a pro ring in one of the hairpin chests.
Yeah, the sad part about that is pro rings were $2,800 in Crescent. They were so cheap.
Oh, I never said it was good. I just said it was relatively noteworthy.
It's been the most noteworthy thing we've seen pulled out of here besides a bunch of money.
I think that's the most noteworthy thing to come out of a chest in, about 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, since Zyrak went to Sky. That's it.
Oh, no. We saw the black shirt. Don't forget about that.
Oh, yeah, okay, that's true. Yeah, that's useful because, AoE magic doesn't exist. Ooh, Pro Cape. That's
Pro Cape. Oh, that's just very pro dungeon right here.
Yeah, at this point he's got to bail out though and get that white mage back up. He can't continue the rest of this dungeon. This is insane that we are an hour and 6 minutes in and our best level between both parties is like level 10.
I mean, they can't grind very effectively because all they have for AoE is coming from items. They don't have nuke, they don't have fade. I think they've got ice 3 at best.
Level 5, I believe, was ice 3.
And well, there we go. Level 5 ice 3. All their AoE is coming from items, so they really can't afford to grind because nothing's really grindable.
Yeah, this is. And it feels like anything that might be able to be grindable's probably rolled some sort of fantastic script as well that's just there to kill you.
Oh yeah, we could just see like a single eye roll up that's suddenly throwing nukes at him.
Yeah, like, given the way this is going, they're going to find that 3-eye grind tile, and it's just going to have like Death Touch or something on it.
Oh yeah, a 3-eye grind with Death Touch. We find Gur Medusas with Nuke or Cure 4 or something like that. Just all the grind tiles, flipping the bird and call it a day.
Yeah. See, and this is one of those seeds that's going to be so heavy melee carry at this point. You're going to have to work so hard to get melee carry on this. This has black belt seed written all over it.
So I was saying earlier that maybe Zyrak could be kicking himself a little bit for not having a red mage to get that extra white magic that was so good early on. But now I'm thinking maybe Zyrak made the right choice in grabbing a thief, because we need all the swingers we can get.
Yeah, that's gonna pay out. That's gonna pay out huge. And no, Burt Reynolds, the correct answer is always black belt. Black belt is the correct answer to everything in life. Have a problem, you punch it. Even Chris Redfield knows when boulders get in the way, you punch them.
Oh yeah, we didn't get to see very much of what Lich had earlier, because all we saw was Blizzard before Zyrak took it down.
Yeah, you gotta give Lich cake. Fortunately, we know Lich didn't have much HP, and there he goes right away.
And now we see if Synth gets super unlucky and gets that post-fiend fight.
Oh, he's out. There we go.
Yeah, the best laid plans never survive first contact with a punch in the face.
No. Especially when you get 10 of them thrown at you, or a fasted black belt for 20 punches for 2k. Always makes you feel good.
Now, me personally, just for the memes, just once, I want to see a party with four white mages, because it'll never work.
Well, you know.
If anybody's read 8-Bit Theater, you know exactly the reference I just made.
Yeah, the black belt is definitely one of the things that is a little contentious in this, because, you know, on these flag sets you have to spend a good chunk of time grinding that black belt up, but in a seed like this, the grind is, and the levels and the guaranteed damage that you'd have would far outweigh any time that you'd be spending grinding on them.
I mean, really though, with this seed, what can you do? Could you just hang out around Canaria and just grind imps? Because I know Zyrak did that initially, just grinded out some imps, which is probably why Zyrak's a little bit ahead right now.
Yeah, you've got the Peninsula of Power grind that you have access to above Provoca.
Some opal armor coming out for Zyrak. I guess that might be good.
Yeah, he's got dragon armor, he doesn't care.
I wasn't sure if dragon armor was like night exclusive or anything like that.
Both the dragon and the opal they both have actually the same absorb rating on it, but opal only has the resistance to lightning, whereas the dragon has resistance to lightning, ice, and fire.
I never understood why they went with opal as opposed to what the material actually is. It's supposed to be like diamond armor and diamond gauntlets, but for some reason they decided to change it from shortening diamond to the 4-letter opal. Yeah,
that's one of the things they changed in this. I know in the remakes, I'm pretty sure they call everything diamond. And at this, they did a lot of things to change names and change things to deal with character limits and such. I mean, this game was really programmed on a wing and a prayer in a lot of ways in the early game, and it's incredible to me, I've said this before, that a game that, a game that had as many, like, I love this game, this is honestly my favorite Final Fantasy, and a game that had as many bugs and small things that were wrong with it, to spawn a series as massive as this one is really incredible.
I get the feeling that if this game were put out today, you would end up with a bunch of people buying it, complaining on the forums about the bugs, but continuing to put hundreds and hundreds of hours into it.
Yeah, that's just the way things go, though. I mean, the joys of things, it seems like people like to complain about anything.
Complaining, probably not going to change anything, but it sure will make you feel better about it.
And that's why we all do it. So we think to ourselves, if we say it enough, though, maybe someone will listen. Yeah, Spider making that point, and I did the same thing, saying, when you were a kid, you wouldn't even know they were bugged, just think this spell sucks and move on. And that's exactly what I did when I was younger, but it's crazy to me, like, after especially playing this randomizer, that you notice all of the things that are going on and all the things that were changed. And like, playing this game vanilla now is so hard, even like now, if you're playing this game strictly as vanilla, you play it with this randomizer because you just play it with the randomizer because it'll fix all of those little things. You don't have to randomize anything. You can let them all stay in the exact same spots, do everything that vanilla would do, same vanilla progression, but running it through this just gets rid of all of those little things, and it's so much better.
Now, to be completely fair, I think that maybe the Dawn of Souls remake did a few more things right. Like, instead of charges, you have MP again. So I think suddenly the intelligence stat matters.
Yeah, there were definitely changes when they did the re-releases. Yeah, there's definitely things when they did the re-releases for things. But the MP system is... Chat's going on it now. Should it be MP or should it be charge system? There's value to both.
The charge system is more based on D&D, I think, which is where I get the feeling a lot of the system came from. And it gives you access to a lot more spell casts because suddenly that nuke is going to cost you a lot of MP regardless of what slot it's in.
Yeah, that's one thing I'd love to see too, is getting a proper randomizer of those as well. But you can really do some funky things with MP charges, and that, or with MP counts as opposed to charges. Like in the late game, it's so much easier. In the later versions of the game, I find it so much easier.
So while we're talking about mechanics, we're missing Synth finally taking a dip into Mirage and finding that herb.
That's huge. He's now going to be able to turn that in, get that floater, the canoe, and at least be able to start moving around a little more. He seems to be confused about the... No, he's not confused. He's taking a minute to let everybody know. He's very upset that he got an herb and then got an unrunnable encounter.
Yeah, that's going to feel really good. End tag sarcasm.
Yeah.
Carrie whipping out Thunder and just about wiping Zyrak. Holy cow.
And the Fiends continue their strategy of, we're not just going to be pushovers here. Yeah, you're gonna have to push it to win here. Lich came out with Blizzard. Carrie came out with...
Coming out with Thunder and Sleep 2, knocking out that fighter.
There's our one opportunity for any melee damage, is now sitting there sleeping.
Fortunately, it also has a low roll of fire too, so doing very, very low damage to the fighter.
Well, he's got that ribbon on the fighter, so it's gonna be helping a lot to mitigate all of that. Getting some good rolls out of this flame sword though, and there she goes. Down goes Carrie.
That was kind of lucky, because that Thunder, the Sleep 2, and then a couple really lucky pulls of Fire 2 and Lit 2. That could have gone much worse.
Oh yeah, if she.
But now Zyrak's got to make it back to a town.
Yeah, well, he can save scum his way across to get there, thankfully. Yeah, if Carrie had come out being slap happy, that could have been a real problem. He had ice armor, so he'd have some absorb in that, but Carrie can roll up on her hits so much. She can easily be throwing 6, 7, 8 hits. It's very annoying when she rolls up on hits. Meanwhile, Lord of the Synth now heading into the second floor. Mirage going to pick up that defense sword, going to pick up that dragon armor. Get some good things. We're still looking for that floater.
Oh, geez. There are still a lot of key items that could be picked up. We haven't visited Ordeals. We haven't visited Ice Cave. There's still so many things that could happen. And I'm pretty sure that if you get the floater, the game just bursts open and suddenly you find easy encounters somewhere behind the floater.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I'm gonna guess that Zyrax gonna make his way. Zyrax can make his way up to ice here. It's right here. It's the next proximity play that I would suspect. Or not. Well, just ignore what I was saying.
Oh, sorry, did you say something?
Exactly. Good job.
What would be kind of amazing is if there was a grind tile, like in the Sharknado room in the Sea Shrine. That would be absolutely amazing to me, and that's where most of the levels end up coming from.
That's it's just not a good tile to grind on because it's so deep in the dungeon and you'd hate for anything to go wrong. Is he going to Marsh?
Oh, Zyrak, don't do it. There's a ribbon there, but don't do it.
Yeah, he's going to. Oh, Zyrak's going to Marsh.
Oh no.
He's got incentivized Ordeals. He's got incentivized Ice Cave. One of those has gotta make more sense. But now Zyrak's gonna go back and have more fun with the Thunderbones and the crack and the crack gargoyles. You don't want that.
Not to mention the cure spiders. Can't forget those.
Oh, he's making a Marsh play here. I mean, you're gonna get an Aegis shield out of top, and you're gonna get a ribbon out of the crown chest at the bottom. But other than that, there is nothing here.
Aside from that, the only thing that was even worth anybody's time, apparently Sid thought it was worth time, was that 5k chest. And at this point, Zyrak doesn't need money.
No, Zyrak. No, after clearing out the bank of armory, he's fine for cash.
He will probably be very happy to see this second ribbon, though.
I think it's his first.
First? Oh, I thought he had one.
I'll have to check his inventory. I don't think we've seen another one.
You might be right, but in that case, that fighter is super lucky to have survived Carrie.
Yeah, what was the ice armor that was saving him from all the fire, or for all the ice twos? Or the ice armor was saving him.
It wasn't ice, it was that he had to survive. It was that thunder.
Yeah, it must have rolled on him something big for that.
Synth hitting the, I guess people call it the greater than, less than room. I just truncated to the brackets room. Finding where all the AoE is hiding in the map.
Yeah. He gets that dragon armor. He gets that Zeus gauntlet. But he's gonna have a problem walking this out with just his fighter standing. And that defense sword too, also very good.
Oh, Synth is kind of suffering right now. Just a fighter up, it's poisoned, facing some Chimera. Unrunnable Chimera. Explains why he's still toughing it out.
Yeah, this is this is scary for him. He doesn't want to have to come back up here again. He knows that defense sword is here. I mean, if he wipes to this, he's just gotta leave. He knows he's gonna be coming back. He knows he can come back and get that stuff later. He'll know where it is. Keep it in the back of your mind. But if you can't get out of this, then don't beat your head against the wall like you did in March earlier.
There has been enough pointless grinding for absolutely no gain so far. He's got to learn when to cut his losses at some point.
Yeah, I really hope he doesn't. I really, really hope if anything goes sour here that he doesn't spend extra time in here.
I am continuing to be amused by Zyrak constantly checking the floors for items.
Oh, this might be his first encounter with the Thunderbones, and there they go. And they
Thunderbones wiping it out. Ouch! And shocking turn to the vents.
Yeah, and just like that, Zyrak finds out this is a horrible idea. Oh, but Synth makes it through. Gets him a couple levels with those Chimera kills on that fighter, which is huge because that's his big melee carry at this point.
That's his only melee carry.
Yeah, I mean, a red mage can swing a Vorpal, anything can swing a Massa, really, but yeah. Oh no, he gets another unrunnable encounter.
As I have heard said in many, many forms, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Zyrak's at his chest where he's going to pick up his ribbon. Synth making real good use of that defense sword, though, using it a couple times, getting his evade up real good, now being able to chop through these Catmen at least. So this fighter's going to gain some good levels out of this.
This might be a unwilling grind. He just doesn't have a choice because there's things he just can't get away from in there.
No, he's out. Oh, he is out. Yeah, a level 17 fighter now. That'll be able to start putting in some work for him.
Still not hide nor hair of that tail, though, to make it a knight. Tail or floater.
Yeah,
it's really nice to find.
The floater is the thing at this point that I think everybody's looking for. I mean, Synth's just going to be happy that he finally has a canoe.
But we're still missing a loose item, right?
Correct. We've only found the one, which was that herb that will turn into the canoe in the first floor.
This is probably going to curse him up and down, but I would find it amazingly funny if the tail was actually hanging out in with the Charizards.
Oh. Yeah, and that's the thing. Everyone, you say tail's optional. Boy, with this part, with the magic setup that's gone on here, I don't know if tail is truly optional.
Oh no, I don't think it's possible to get through Topher without tail at this point. You need that higher level magic.
To get some of those magic charges, Cure 4 on the knight would be huge. That might be your one big saving grace. Being able to equip that dragon and Aegis to get some real, absorb, to be able to sustain. Your black mage is pretty much good to cast fast, and that's about it. Your white mage would be great if it's still alive because it has life too, but outside of that, I don't know what good everything else is.
Yeah, I'm thinking in regards to magic after promotion, Lord of the Synth has a much, much better situation with the red mage being able to cast certain very, very keynote white magic spells and basically have a backup for that white mage.
Yeah, that's Synth's advantage, but Cyrax's advantage with that ninja, especially already having a katana in hand, he's gonna have that thing will be able to put out some good damage for him, and that's what he needs. So here we've got Zyrak heading up. Looks like he's heading towards Ordeals. at this point. Good play. We've got level 1 warp.
Yeah, I'm not at all mad about an Ordeal's play right now. I think with warp that early, that should have been on his mind a little bit quicker.
Oh, checking into the on-rack waterfall area. So this looks like he's gonna do waterfall first. Meiji is asking if ice has been checked. Negative. Ice has not been checked. Yeah. Ice, Ordeals, and waterfall are all unchecked at this point in time, and are all of our incentivized locations at this point in time that we can get into.
Hey, let's have some fun. How cursed is this seed, really? I'm betting that the bottle has the Oxyale. That's why the old men had it. That's what was in the bottle, and that's why the fairy still has it.
They were just huffing air the whole time. And at the 1 hour, 28 minute mark, Lord of the Synth has a canoe. We're about to see something memey come up on his screen any second now. Just wait for it, people. It's coming. Don't disappoint me here, Synth. I know you're typing something.
Yeah, as long as it's not .ff.
Oh, there's memes incoming. Although at this point he may just be screaming obscenities at himself right now.
Oh, this is going to be an amazing interview later.
Hey, so how did you feel about having to run around for an hour and a half just to find a canoe? Please stop talking to me. I think that's the interview.
Yeah, we can do live bleeping, right?
Yeah, totally. There was no meme.
I think you're probably right. He was just like screaming obscenities into the void.
Yeah. That's. I think at that point he just put his head down, said a few choice words, contemplated why he plays this game at all.
Yeah, that or just one choice word over and over.
Yes. Yeah. Or a combination of all of the above.
So I'm putting money on it. I saw it last night. The robot has key. Betting it right now.
All right, let's see what we've got. Money.
Oh, he's got a ruby.
Well, hey, that opens up 2 more incentive locations for us. Titan's Trove is available and Sard is available now. I mean, that's better than nothing.
And I could still be right by proxy. One of those 2 things could have key.
That's true. What is up with every chest that they've found so far being pretty much money?
You know, I don't know. I didn't know there were that many chests with money in them in this game.
Where are any of the big swords? Where, like, 1 ribbon? I mean, okay, we've got a couple good pieces of armor.
Well, we found the katana. We found at least 1 pro ring, the pro cape, a ribbon. Found what? The defense sword. Nothing too fantastic, really.
Like, even like a sun sword, an ice sword. Like, you know, something that we can be swinging now to do damage.
Yeah,
He's gonna go.
This is the polar opposite to a seed I got to see last night. This is the I give you nothing and you will like it seed.
Yeah, this has not been the kindest seed to our runners in any way, shape, or form. And swinging a flame sword at the hour 30 mark does not feel good. Zyrak thought about going to check the caravan, but then remembered we've already purchased the vendor item, so no need to do that. He's gonna bypass Ordeals. He's gonna go chase that ruby right away, it looks like.
I do not agree with skipping Ordeals.
Yeah, you've got level 1. Yeah, you've got level 1 warp. You've got You got level 1 warp. You're right there in proximity to it. It's another close check. I'm surprised. I'm surprised by that.
This seed has basically very clearly spoken a few times. It has said, your mages are worthless. It said, you need to go to Mirage. And it's also said, screw you.
Yeah, that feels like the things that it's definitely said all through this. Yeah, I'm really surprised with a black mage named Dan and everything that has been there through these first 5 levels, that black mage is still upright. That is astounding to me that Zyrak still has it upright and isn't funneling that experience to those other 3 members.
I am very surprised that at least one of them hasn't decided to go for 3-man or even 2-man strats. I think 2-man might actually be acceptable, especially if your best sources of damage are items and swinging steel at things.
Yeah, I mean, once you get that tail, you're gonna be those 2 guys. You just need levels. You need levels on this fighter and on Zyrak's side on that thief. You need them so badly right now because that's going to be the only way you're getting through Temple of Fiends at this point. There is no magic that is going to save you down there.
And we find the power bonk in the Titan's chest. These are some happy fighters. We gotta think about that.
Now this 2-man strat becomes even more viable. You've got a power bonk to buff your own guy up. You've got a defense sword to ruse them. Once you promote, you have cure 4 on that night. I mean, boy, you've really got to start thinking at least 3-man at this point, if not dropping all the way to 2 for Zyrak. And that ninja's going to be able to learn fast as well, so that's your big buff spell on the black side.
Yeah, I think 3-man strats are best. There's Oxyale from Sarda, giving him his oxygen tank. Poor guy.
Question in chat by Falconic. So what tripped up Synth for him to fall this far behind? Marsh Cave. Synth decided at the start that he was going to make a marsh gamble, and we saw Bones with Thunder and Gargoyles with Crack, and he ran into that for probably a good 25 minutes trying to pull a ribbon out of the crown chest.
And then he went back for 5,000 gold.
Yeah, and for some reason there was a 5,000 gold chest that he absolutely needed to have as well. He spent a good 20-25 minutes just running in. He knew he had already full cleared Mirage, or Marsh, was done with it, checked all the chests, had wiped multiple times in between checking them all, and decided that ribbon was such a priority that it didn't matter how long it took. He was going to pull it. And
to be completely fair, a lot of the seeds I've seen recently have had that one dungeon with a sign that says "Beat Head here."
Yeah, sometimes you gotta look at it and go, that's bait. You just leave it alone. The other big thing being that we got a canal and a chime within the first 2 minutes of the game, and Zyrak took that to mean that means I've got to go to Sky, and that ended up leading to his canoe in the first floor Mirage.
Yeah, Mirage was absolutely the right choice. It led him to Herb, led him to the canoe, and then here we are, almost an hour and 40 minutes in, and we are still this far away from even touching Topher.
Yeah, it feels like this has been a real long slog with it at this point for sure. With that Oxyale in hand that we got from Sarda, we are going to go and dive. We're gonna go and dive the Sea Shrine. Magius, both all of Earth and all of Volcano have been cleared. Earth has been done by
Have
both.
we seen this level 7 magic yet? Life in
No, we have
2?
not.
And Fire 3 and Bane.
Yeah, we've full cleared. We have 100% full cleared Earth. We have 100% full cleared Volcano. And there was nothing good there.
Fire and Earth were basically complete busts, except for the black shirt, really.
Yeah, the best thing to come out of both combined, I believe, was a black shirt out of 4th floor Earth in the top little treasure trove. Falconic very upset that there's no Cope talk.
You're gonna have to explain that one to me.
Cope would be the guy who's standing just north of where you get into the barrel to go to sea. There's just a dude standing there for no reason, and he likes to tell you that his name's Cope. It's the equivalent to talking to the Hooray Dwarf. You just do it.
Alright, well, Zyrak pulled a opal something out of a chest. I didn't really see what it was. It looked like a helmet.
Yeah, probably something he doesn't care about. He's diving the right side here. He's gonna go to mermaids. Check out what the ladies are holding. Opal shield. Thank you, Spider.
That would probably be a little more useless. As far as I know, the opal shield's night only, or am I mistaken?
Yeah, night only, and we already have the Aegis shield, so that trumps it. So who cares?
Hey, it's worth selling. Oh wait.
Once again, if you've cleared out Volcano Armory, you got everyone. If you want to see where the money is in the game, please direct your attention to Lord of the Synth screen. Every chest in here, aside from that soft potion, cold hard cash.
Gaia Banking Associates, we work for you, throwing your money into a volcano and a cave where you will never see it again. But neither will anyone else.
Yeah. The other big money stash was all of Earth. Alright, so we're gonna get a mermaid check here on site.
And there's a floater.
Well. Boy. And here we were saying, do you really check C before, you've got ordeals, you've got ice, you've got incentivized, well, you've got a floater now.
I mean, where else would you expect to find a floater except a very wet toilet? Seriously though, that floater is going to blow things very much open for Zyrak.
Yeah, that's huge. That's absolutely.
If this were Dark Souls, he'd probably be very happy with a falchion.
Yeah, wrong game. Oh, and a masa. Oh god, the ladies were holding on to everything.
Remember, always be nice to the ladies. They will treat you well.
2 chests left here. One of them might as well be a ribbon as well. This final chest should just be a ribbon. Everything's in.
Nah, it could just as well be a cube at this point. I mean, really, I know the floater was the other loose item that we've been looking for, but still.
Yeah, well, we now have access to everything we need. We have that big endgame weapon. I think the only thing that Zyrak will be looking for now is obviously he's going to need a cube and a key, and he's going to need a tail. And if he gets those 3 things at this point, I think he's going to feel pretty comfortable.
I was almost thinking that maybe the tail wouldn't be as big of a priority, but then I remember, oh yeah, kind of gotta need that knight.
That knight needs those things. He needs that Cure 4. That ninja needs to be able to help pump out some damage. And getting that katana on him. As soon as you find that tail, I'd genuinely be looking with the AoE items you've got. Find a grind tile. There's got to be a Gurmadusa tile out there somewhere. And just 2-man those and build those 2 up as much as possible.
Interesting question being raised in chat. Why didn't he go clear Kraken?
I have no clue. Falconic, it would be great if he could promote for all of that gear, but we still don't know where the heck that tail is. He's gonna have to chase down. I know we've got Bottle that we can go and look at. So yeah, this seed is screaming 2-man at this point, between the magic that your buff spells with fast that the ninja can learn, your cure 4 on that night, having a massa, having a
I do kind of
katana.
disagree with the 2-man. I would say at least the white wizard would want to be around for life, just in case. You got to have that white insurance policy.
Not a horrible one, but I genuinely don't see value in that black mage. Like, I really don't know what it's doing other than eating experience for you.
Oh yeah, that's a big blue paperweight he's got hanging at the bottom of his party.
It's got a fantastic hat, but other than that, it's not doing much.
Unfortunately, Chaos will not be scared away by a hat.
No, unfortunately, hat strats don't work. So now that Cyrax got his floater, he's up in the air at the 143 mark. Well, it looks like he's now going to clear out an incentive ice. Now this is absolutely bizarre that he makes such a gamble on a non-incentivized location to get exactly what he needs, to then go, well, I guess I should go and finish out my incentivized now. I mean, he knows that's the only thing that's left, right?
At this point, why wouldn't you go ahead and just fly up and turn your bottle in? At least that way you could check out some more magic.
Yeah, level 7 and 8 magic, though you're only gonna get top slot of black that the black mage can learn, I believe, of level 7 in Gaia. And I think the top slot of white, the white mage can learn prior to promotion. I mean, you still need that tail.
It could still be Fade. Fade's got to be somewhere.
We're still far off from having level 7 charges, though. And yes, if you want to see Chaos run in fear, there is actually someone did a task of a single white mage party, and that is 100% how they end up taking care of Chaos, is between Exfer and Fear, and get Chaos to run around and run away from himself for you to win the game.
I believe it. I don't think we have 2 orbs just yet. This carry had Thunder, so Synth could still be in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah.
Or I could just be eating my words right now.
Oh, second ribbon here.
Oh, a ribbon out of the ice chest? Or is that... Oh, it's just out of the side chest. Okay.
Just out of the side chest there. On the bottom one, we've got...
We have our third visit to the dwarves.
Oh yeah, it was just task 3256, yeah. There is a bomb in the ice cave, and Cyrax says, if you're not gonna... Okay, so it looks like he's gonna check the bottom 6 here. It's just skipping the top 2 guarded typically by the white Ds.
Since he's found both loose items, I don't think I blame him.
Yeah, I'm not sure what else he's looking for, why he's even checking chests at this point. You've got your 2
for Excalibur, maybe, or
you're not.
That's the only thing I could think of.
You're not using Excal at this point. Mass is gonna be sticking on your fighter. You've got a katana for your ninja. So,
in that case, I legitimately have no clue. What would you be looking for just random stuff?
You've got 2 ribbons now, so even if you go...
There's the tail.
This is going to be a very, very quick flyover, I think, to promote and go check out and go talk to Bahamut and hand him a rat's tail, which, nothing says you're really, really brave and courageous like giving some dragon a rat tail.
I hear it makes very good rat tail soup.
If you're Zyrak, do you actually take the time to check out what's in the rest of the Charizard caves?
I don't think so. I don't think it's needed at this point. I think he's gonna have Dragon Armor, Aegis Shield, Masa. He's gonna have Ice Armor. He's gonna have on his Ninja with levels at this point, with the AoE casters he's got, with the items he's got a defense for evasion, he's got a power bonk for buffing, he's going to be able to get fast on that, on the Ninja Cure 4 on the Knight. The only thing I would be looking at doing at this point is quite literally just grinding those two up. This is now, even if you plan on keeping that White Mage alive for later, you do a 2-man grind for the foreseeable, for a while. And I don't think, if you can level those guys up to 29-ish, between 29, anywhere from 29 to 35 I could see on those two, you don't need to open another chest, and you can go mode. Find a grind tile. You just gotta find a grind tile.
If you do open chest, what could you possibly hope to find? The third ribbon at best?
At this point, I think that would be all. And those two chests that Zyrak skipped in the top left of this floor had an X-Cal, which for Lord of the Synth is great because he hasn't got mermaids yet to find Masa. But I don't know what else Zyrak could be looking for. I really don't. I don't know.
It's less good for Synth because at the same time the floater is in the Sea Shrine, and he's more likely to find the floater than the Masa at this point, I think.
Well, fortunately for him, they're both in the same place. So if he finds one, he's more than likely going to find the other. A white shirt, maybe, that Zyrak's looking for a little extra evasion stacking, but I really don't know what else Zyrak would want.
White shirt, third ribbon, which if he takes the 2-man strat option, that's not even going to matter.
You've got Wall, so even if your first turn with your White Mage just casts Wall on itself, give the 2 ribbons to your Thief, or to your Ninja and to your Knight. I'm not sure. We're gonna see where he goes now. He's got that bottle. I mean, that's a quick turn in. At this point, he's looking for Cube, and he's looking for Key to be able to get into Go mode. At this point, we've got a bottle turn in. We still have to do Ordeals. Yeah.
Meanwhile, Synth needs to find his ruby in Waterfall, I believe, and then suddenly he'll have access to the Oxyale and his power bunk, which he should find useful.
Yeah, I think he's already got it. Or is he going all the long way just to check the trap chest or the trap tile because he didn't do the warp trick? I guess he didn't do.
Oh no, he's got the TNT. He's in Ice Cave right now, but judging by the tracker, he has not been to Waterfall to get his ruby.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he has not gone there yet.
So I'm thinking that, let's see here, I'm betting maybe the bottle has the key, and Sky Temple is holding its own cube.
Can't.
The cube can't be anywhere in Sky?
No, because how could you get into Sky without the cube?
Yeah, okay, fair point. So, we could still have need for the slab.
Yeah, we've got an opal bracelet that's out there, we've got a key that's out there, we've got a cube that's out there. I think bottle's gonna lead to slab because bottle's gotta lead to slab. Or slab to bottle's got to lead to slab.
I mean, slab could be hanging out in the sky incentive.
Yeah,
and it could just lead to the opal Cheerio.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna find out real short here. Says Zyrax up here. He will give us answers momentarily as to what the tiny fairy has been holding on to. Oh, look, really cheap gold bracelets. Those would have been super useful a long time ago.
Yeah, those would have been nice about an hour ago.
Finally, when we have money and we have some levels and we have some equipment, here's some better stuff. Oh, crown! Hey, we forgot about that.
Not a crown. Yeah, that's right. Astos is a thing, isn't he?
Yeah, so that's going to lead to another fetch quest item, more than likely.
We spend so much time worrying about the key in the cube, we forget crown exists.
Yeah. It's one of those seeds where, again, we're approaching the 2-hour mark and we're still missing, 4 or 5 incentive things. Just not, it just doesn't feel good at all. So we're gonna go talk to this guy here. He's got an opal bracelet. Of course he does. All right. So
this could not be any worse.
All right. So that means that Ordeals is holding our progression to the cube. That's what that means. Ordeals has to be holding our progression to the cube, whether that's just straight cube itself or that slab leading to cube.
I wonder if Zyrak has completely forgotten about Ordeals, because he's passed by it so many times.
He's going there now. Here he goes. He's landing. He's going to make the walk over. This one of the rare times that actually sailing, especially when he had already been in that on-rack area with his boat, because you can just dock. Lord of the Synth is going to make use of this river dock that I was just about to talk of to get to Ordeals and make his way in here.
J-Lo, we know that the bottle was the opal Cheerio, so Ordeals could hold the cube, or it could hold the slab, or it could hold the key, which would open up several more locations.
No, it can't be the key. The key is sitting in Sky Palace. The key is 100% sitting in. Yeah, it has to be. It's the only logical progression. This is either cube or it's slab, which leads to cube. And then,
I hate to say it, but this seed has been defying all logic.
Yeah, the game would be broken because there wouldn't be a second item. There've already been 2 loose items, so yes, Sky is our incentive. So this has to be, this either is cube or it's slab that leads to cube. It's the only possible thing.
No, Caleb did not roll this one. This one was rolled by Gouda, right?
Yeah, this is a Gouda production.
So remember, if anyone asks, this is all Gouda's fault.
Yeah, so this is either going to be cube, which then leads to slab key, or this is going to be slab to cube, which leads key in Sky. It's the only way this can work. Otherwise, the seed's broken, and this has been a horrific go of 2 hours to end up with a seed that didn't have a sanity check clear.
So while we're watching our runners running around, both of them running around Ordeals, let's talk a little bit about the runners. Zyrak, what's his history?
A little bit newer to the community. He's been playing. I'm not 100% on everything with his history. I know Lord of the Synth was in last year's tournament. I think he made it to. He was either in the last chance. I believe he made it to the last chance qualifier in last year's tournament. I have a big love for him because 99% of the time, and all last year, he kept putting in one of my favorite bands, Rush. He used their names as for all his character names, so that makes him instantly awesome. So the reason he's losing is he's changed to the Beatles tonight. That's the problem. But both sitting at 1 and 2, this is an absolute win, an absolute must-win at this point for them. And Lord of the Synth's gonna need a whole lot of luck to be able to pull this one back, unfortunately, at this point, I think.
I think this is a pretty epic seed if it's a must-win scenario, because it really disincentivizes anybody to just throw in the towel just because the seed roughed him up a little bit.
Yeah, you could tell there have been a few points where Synth has stopped, looked at his, and it is a cube here.
Alright, so we have a cube. The only items that we don't really officially know what the heck is going on with is the slab and the key.
Which
means
the
key has to be in the sky, right?
No, the slab will be in sky.
Okay, the slab's in sky, and probably leads to the key.
And then the slab is finally sitting in sky, and then we go all the way over to Lupa Lupa Land, and they're gonna hand us a nice spicy key. And then finally, at approximately the 2-hour, 10-minute markish, I'm gonna suspect in that area, we'll be in go mode. Unfortunately for Synth,
This has been a wild ride, and unfortunately Synth is going to be on that ride for a good 15-20 minutes longer than Zyrak at this point.
Yeah, he's gotta go in the complete opposite direction and do C, or go do waterfall to get access to C. Oh, he's gonna be chasing down this cube full clearing, I think. He's gonna be full clearing sky. I don't know what else Synth is looking at doing at this point.
I would say he's chasing his tail, but that's a little bit on the nose too.
Yeah, most definitely.
So where has Synth not been? I mean, we've seen Zyrak hit a lot of places while Synth was beating his head against the wall that is marsh.
The big one that Synth needs to go to at this point is Waterfall. The Waterfall had the ruby, and that gives us access to that Oxy Ale, which will give us access to mermaids, where both the floater and Masa are sitting, which would give him a big boost. So it's sad that he was right there at Ordeals and didn't go over to the on-rack area and clear out Waterfall, but I know he's thinking in his head, I don't want to have to do that. I don't want to go to the sea area without, clearing out Waterfall without already having Oxyale in hand. But it's one of those situations where you can't do it. You need to do the Waterfall to get access to see it at all at this point.
This has been a real nightmare, needing to dip into Mirage, needing to dip into Sea. These are places that you generally just don't want to stick your head in, look around. You want to go in and finish him, if I'm right.
Yeah, anytime you can get into, he's coming back this way, so he looks like he's going to Waterfall, which is good. That's the right way. Yeah, if you can ever, your best bet for running is, proximity route, everything that's close together, one time, get it all done. Get it all done, be there, not have to come back, not have to double dip, clear it out, kill the fiend, everything in one go. That's what you're hoping to be able to do every single time with it. I mean, sometimes the seed forces you to have to double dip in that, and you don't like that, but typically, you don't want to have to be going into particularly fiend dungeons if you're not able to fully clear them.
Zyrak running into those definitely not copyright protected Catman.
He's trying to throw a light axe on them, finding out that they do not care because they're not undead.
So with promotion, this is something I've been curious about because I've been getting slightly mixed messages in the past. With promotion, do they retroactively get spell slots, or if you promote at level 50, are you just completely out of luck for getting spell slots for those classes that gain them?
You are locked out. You do not gain them retroactively. It is once it's level 15 is the first time the promoted classes can get them, but if you don't promote until 21, you've skipped 15, 17, 19, and 21. It's the first odd level that you hit post-promotion.
Now, Zyrak finding an eye. Let's see what kind of nightmares this thing has.
Thankfully it misses, so we don't have to find out, and there's some experience. I'm assuming he's doing this. He's gonna keep everybody up, but then I gotta think once he finds a grind tile or does something, you know, he's gonna. That's a nuke cast. At the 2 hour and 3 minute mark, we have an AoE magic cast. At the 2 hour and 3 minute mark, we have our very first AoE mage cast.
An AoE that didn't come from an item? What blasphemy is this?
This is insane.
And there's the slab. Gonna have to go get that thing translated. Go visit the Lupa Lupas, get the Lupa also translated as a key.
Exchange some Lupas with the Lupas about Lupa Lupa. He's gonna check the 4 greed chests here. I really don't know what he's hoping to get. But...
The only thing he could be hoping for is a ribbon, because he hasn't gone to 3-man or 2-man strats. He's gotta be wanting to kip everybody out.
Yeah, that's the only thing that I can be thinking of.
Or he could be after that white shirt. I don't think we've seen that yet.
No, that's the only thing, and unfortunately, Synth. Synth takes a wipe here. Oh man, this is one of those situations where it's really unfortunate, because I've seen it happen a few times where one decision that you make ends up being the wrong decision, and then it feels like from that point everything snowballs in the absolute worst way against you. You see all the bad things. Every play you make after is incorrect. You know, you're seeing things your opponent didn't see numerous times. So I feel for Synth here. Ladies and gentlemen, we are approaching the Bridge of Destiny. So if you want to see the robot chicken, the Overlord, the one thing we need to kill, you know, because why not? We need it at this point. Throw out those blessed RNGs. Zyrak has made a mess of this maze. I think he's gone down 3 times now.
I think I saw him go down once, right once, and down once. So I don't actually know what the maze is supposed to be.
The maze is go 2 in any one direction. So if you go 2 up and then 2 right, just pick 2 parallel directions. It doesn't matter if you go left, left, up, up, left, left, down, down, right, right, up, up, right, right, down, down. The maze is always just 2 away, 2 to 1, like 2 to 1 horizontal plane, and then 2 steps to a vertical plane, and you're gonna find the teleporter.
So if my count is correct, Zyrak has gone 1 down, 1 right, 3 down.
There he goes. Now I think he's found it.
Oh yeah, that'd be a fun nightmare. Warmac with nuke and nuclear.
Why not at this point? Just lay it on him.
Hey, let's see if there's any unrunnable fights along the way, just because.
It's gonna take a second here and heal up. Smart move, smart move. You never want to run into a Warmac, being unprepared.
Is there any being prepared at this point, though? I mean, really, there's a Nacho.
You know, honestly, I would see him trying to take it, and I would try and take it at this point. You've got a Masa, you've got a Katana, you've got Fast, you need levels. I would try and take him if he can.
Made it through without seeing the robot chicken. Meanwhile, Synth has met with the robot and gotten his ruby, I believe.
Yep, he's got his ruby now, so he's gonna make his way back there and be able to get his power bonk and his Oxyale. Meanwhile, we got a Tia 1 fight coming up. We got Fog 2 coming up, buffing up that Absorb. Temper going out onto the Masa building right. The second Temper. Masa comes out, 4 hits, 3, 7, 2. Round 2, here we go. Gonna go swing, swing. heal 3 fight. I'm surprised he didn't cast fast, of all things, though. He went with temper and not fast. 4 hits, 596. Big swing from Masa. 152 from the Katanas.
And 2 from the Black Mage, just for good measure.
Just because he wanted to poke one of the faces with his silver dagger. This Tia's got some health. We're at about 1700-ish HP, I think, at this point, so Tia's packing on a little beef here.
Fortunately, Tia hasn't really thrown anything amazing out, just punching.
No, punching here and there. There's another big hit for 653. Down goes Tia. There we go. He's going to wisely heal up before, because we all know those steps after. He hasn't saved yet. Save. Oh, thank God.
That could have been so much worse, because that was a very beefy Tia. Imagine if it had Cure 4.
If it had any AoE spells as well, anything. At least now we've got those 2 ribbons, so that knight would have been protected from a lot of it, but didn't seem to be punching all that hard, which was a plus. He's going to take on some steak and wings here. Everybody needs a little food. He's been working hard. He needs to buff up, get some protein. And it's funny to say, even though the fact that Tia had a bunch of HP, Lich and Carry were really scary, throwing out blizzards and thunders and stuff.
Yeah, they were a lot scarier. I think Tia was... I don't think Tia had anything, really. It just punched.
Yeah, and not overly hard. I mean, it was punching a Black Mage for 100. That's nothing.
So that does not bode very well for Kraken, of course, but we'll have to see what Kraken's packing.
You might be looking to do some smacking for sure. Finally here, got our slab translated on Zyrak's side. Synth's gonna go and pick up his power bonk down here and then walk over to Sarda and get his Ox Yale. And then from there we're gonna be seeing what his plans are at that point. Zyrak making the walk down to Lefane now. And said right around that 2 hour and 10 minute mark, it will finally be an official go mode.
I've got to say, this is one of the longest seeds I have ever had the pleasure of watching, but it's been infinitely amusing for how much of a headache it's been.
Yeah, the early game, and the craziest part about this is we might still have another hour here to go. I mean, we're level 21. We're not in fantastic shape at this point with our magic. We're not in great shape with melee swings to take out a Temple of Fiends Revisited. I mean, if there's anything that's, beefy or high, high evade, high absorb, we could still be looking at a little bit of time. God, some of the scripts that have rollen, it wouldn't shock me that we could see a nuclear fiend.
It could be even worse than that. It could be that the fiends are made of tissue paper, but everything between the entrance and the fiends are like unrunnable bad men with super HP throwing nukes.
Yeah. We've seen a lot of bad scripts, but I mean, we still haven't seen any horrible touch effects. I mean, one of the greatest races that if you've ever had the opportunity was the Gurmaduces of Death. I mean, on that earth floor, Gurmaduces that ambushed that had 10 hits with Death Touch. Like, yeah,
Speaking of Gurmaduces, have we actually seen, just a party pack of those?
We haven't found that grind tile yet. We haven't found, that's another thing. If, you're gonna be looking at buffing, I think, with this magic and this party comp, you're going to be needing to get probably to the high 20s, if not the early 30s. And we don't have a good grind tile.
Spider, I actually started that debate the other day because I have no idea, because we also have things like Grimps and Gurwolves that it's got to be greater or great, but most of the things that have Gur in front of them are in fact green.
Yeah, I think you just make it up. Call it whatever you want.
And then there's the gray worms, which happen to be green, and I think whoever was designing these things was colorblind.
I had, you know what? I will find. I have the original NES card of this, and when it came with it, it had all of the enemy names with all their stats and everything on it, and I think it had all the actual full names of everything in it. I'm gonna have to find that.
Now maybe we can locate a PDF of that and finally get to the bottom of this mystery.
Yeah, there was one that had when the game was released, like with the NES card, it came with like the map of the overworld, the map of all the dungeons. It had a map, a chart of every single enemy, all their stats, everything like that was with it. So at least I remember as a kid, I had all those things to rely on to figure out what the heck, where I was going and what I should kill and what I should use on things. It showed like what items were equipable for what what magic could be learned by who and things like that.
So Synth just got his Oxyale, and if you were Synth, how far behind would you feel at this point?
I'd be sitting there going, how in the world has my opponent not done yet? That's literally what he's thinking at this point, is he's sitting there going, I must be absolute miles behind. I am an hour behind my opponent. What is going on that he has not hit done yet? What has happened? Like, how horrible is the Temple of Fiends that he has not done? Yet he just doesn't know that we haven't even got there yet. Zyrak is lost on this floor, it seems.
It certainly seems that way, because he's still popping a few chests. I don't know if he's maybe looking for that, for a Germedusa pack, or just deciding to find something to grind on.
Maybe, but he's gone up and down. He's looked in a room. He's looked in another place. He's unsure of where he's lost. He's 100% lost right now. I think he's on the next... I believe in his mind, he thinks he's on the next floor, where he's on Kraken floor. But he's actually on Sharknado floor. You gotta go up, Zyrak. You know what? I don't even think I can blame him. His mind is probably so frazzled from everything that's gone on that he's just like, I don't know what happens in this game anymore.
At this point, I am 100% sure that both of our runners are feeling extremely behind and wondering why the heck the other hasn't finished fighting. The Vorpal sword, though, not going to come in very much handy right at the moment.
Nah, you've got a katana. It's Vorpal, but better. Alright, now he's on the right. Now I think he knows where he's at. I really think he got confused on what floor he was on there for a second.
Now, to be completely fair, Synth is behind because he made some bad life choices earlier, and Zyrak made the right ones. But at the same time, Zyrak doesn't seem to know his routing very well. I mean, I don't know it at all, so I'm the one to talk.
Oh, but Synth is gonna spend a huge chunk of time here going to Sky, which we know isn't where he needs to be for his progression. It makes sense for him. It's an incentivized location. He wants to get that, but he's going to find out it's the slab, which is not what he needs. And he's going to be checking every single chest, full clearing, out Sky, still looking for that second loose.
Now, to be completely fair, the Seed has been yelling, go to Sky, go to Sky, go to Sky, over and over again. But then he finds the Oxyale and has no idea that's where his floater's hiding.
Yeah, in Synth's shoes, it makes complete sense. He's like, I have one incentive location left that I can check. I don't have the floater yet. I've got to go to Sky. It's got to be where my floater is. Little does he know it's loose and Mermaid. You know, that's... Ugh. Here we got a Kraken pull here. Ooh, Kraken throws out his 10 hits because it's what he does. JJ responding. Got a good hit with the Master for 500. Fog 2 comes out a little late, but better late than never, I guess. We'll go with Cure 4 on that. He's still opting for Tempers over that Fast. But gets a couple Tempers off. This is going to do some good damage. 4 hits, 1,047. Calamari for everybody. And there we are at the 1 hour, 17 minute, 39-second mark. Zyrak has finally lit all 4 orbs and has the opportunity to finally enter the Temple of Fiends. But I don't think he's quite there yet.
The only thing I can figure is that maybe that Gurmedusa tile we've been hoping to see is somewhere in the Temple of Fiends.
Oh, man. You're 21, 22. One of the big break points is 24 for that night with the Masa. It gets his 5th hit at level 24. I think he might have been 23 on that night, so that's not too far off. You should pick that up on the way. But, oh man.
And for those who are playing the game along with me, apparently the number of dwarf visits is going to be 3.
And finally, at the 1:18:30 mark, we'll call it, we are in 2,000 years in the past. Here we go. Temple of Fiends revisited.
Now that's something I've never seen before. A Chimera?
That's Jim. That's Jim's cousin.
Oh, it's okay. That's fascinating. I wonder what those things have.
Typically a lot of HP and a lot of good experience. Yeah, you know what? I don't blame Zyrak for wanting to run into this as fast as possible, because he probably feels just as behind as Synth feels, being 2 hours 18 minutes in.
With how long the seed is gone, there's no way both of them don't feel 15 minutes behind each.
Oh, if not more than that. I mean, if not more. Especially, I think Synth feels it more, when he was banging his head on Marsh for so long.
Now, that loot, does that serve any purpose except for right there to move that one tile?
No, that's it. And the only clue you get in the game that that's what you actually have to use it for is at the very start. Sarah, if you talk to her a second time, says, "This has been in my family for 2,000 years. And then when you find out you're going back 2,000 years in the past, you have to go, and use that loot. That's it.
Recall that one bit of throwaway dialogue and move the tile.
This game, if you sit there and try to route it out, without knowing, I learned this game from my brothers. I have 2 older brothers, and they really taught me this game and showed me the routing, so I got to learn, and I pretty much just memorized it from that point. But good God, if you had to actually learn the routing properly without a Nintendo Power Guide and just by actually talking to NPCs and stuff, this game is impossible to figure out.
I can practically feel Synth's irritation through the internet finding that 7 gold chest and finding out it's completely worthless.
I bet his irritation was even higher when he pulled that out and saw it was a slab, because he's sitting there going, I can't use this, I don't have a floater. Oh, yeah, Synth is on beyond full tilt at this point, I can guarantee.
So, since people... Oh, unrunnable chimeras, how fun. But since we were talking about it, and since it's still a topic in chat, Black Belt. What makes Black Belt so awesome for the seed?
This seed in particular, Black Belt, would be great because a level 42 Black Belt insta-kills pretty much everything. It has 10 hits. If you cast fast on it, it gets up to 20 hits. It has a great crit rate. It would have a health pool of 850-ish. It's just a one-punch man. And in a seed like this, particularly where you are definitely relying on a melee carry, because we had garbage for magic, and we also had good AoE casting items. You could find a pack of something and grind that black belt up real quick, and it would be something that can just punch its way through all the fiends here in the late game.
Speaking of the late game, looks like Zyrak is facing Lich 2. Let's find out if he's as big of a speed bump as he usually is. I'm kind of worried, actually.
Well, thankfully, with good turn order, says you just sit there, Lich 2. You enjoying being back here, but blow up into your purple dust. You're good. So we're gonna get here to carry 2 in a second.
That first carry was scary. I wonder if the second incarnation is going to be just as bad.
Yeah, this is gonna feel like such a steal job if Zyrak gets through this with the levels that he has to pull this off, with how little they had in the tank for so long in the game. Being able to get this done at right at 23, 24. One dive through this. There's, with some of the scripts we've seen, with some of the horrible things we've seen, being able to, if he can skate through this on one go, it would be incredible.
Well, it's looking like Carrie's not packing too much heat, and as she casts Blaze, and really makes me eat my words a little bit. You pretending to be a Kraken first using ink, so it's not looking like she's packing too much to threatening yet.
No, not at this point yet. We haven't seen anything horribly bad. She's got over 1,000 HP though, so she's definitely been beefing up at the gym. Nuclear! Oh, here we go.
Oh, that hurts. I mean, maybe not so much, because the thief really isn't contributing much, but...
White Mage lives, that's the big thing. Life 2 gonna be able to bring him back up. We're okay. Spend some time here, drop some heal pots, get everybody back up.
I'm kind of surprised that Zyrak didn't just waste those tents and cabins before coming in, get that heal on a better spot.
Yeah, with only... That's another one of those things, though. He's fairly new to the game and still running, and that's one of those more advanced things to think of to be doing it. But that's definitely one of the things that you wanna be doing if you have the opportunity to move that heal pot. So all you have to do is push up, and you're right on it. You can save yourself a lot of time in healing. One of the things that I'm sure, going back, having the opportunity to watch this VOD, little things like that to be able to pick up on and improve. I mean, but again, at this point, he probably feels so far behind, he didn't even want to spend the 2 seconds if he was thinking of doing that on it at all. You're 2 hours, and like we said, you're 2 hours and 18 minutes walking into Topher. It's just, you're feeling slow.
I mean, this entire seed has been just... It's been a lesson in patience. That's what it's been.
Alright, here comes Kraken 2. How slap happy will he be? Yeah, we got a temper going off on the Massive Roller. Lightning 2, that's a good thing to see. You're happy with that. That's not going to kill someone. Defense Sword goes out. Getting our buffs up. Fog 2 coming out. And Fast going on. Alright, now that Massa should be pretty good. Now we're going to spend another time throwing some more buffs on it.
I think that's the first time I've seen Fast get cast.
Yeah, he's been opting for Temper for most of the things. And we are on the Bridge of Destiny on Lord of the Synth side, so, bless RNGs. There we go, Power Bomb comes out. Nothing from Kraken, just some hold, nothing big. Another cast of Fog 2. So we got 3 casts of Fog 2. Our Absorb's been beefed pretty good. Quad X coming out, that's alright. We got Pro Rings, 10 hits for 1,300. Masa says, here's some more calamari, everybody.
It seems that Kraken was lacking.
Not packing much at all. Here we go, Tia 2 now. We start off Power Bomb, Temper. let's see what that was. The white mage was doing heal 3. Oh, bad turn order. That gets off preemptively before anything that Tiamat does fast comes off. Yeah, what I loved that.
It's just a lit 2 though, so end result not too.
Nah, not horrible.
Sad. I mean, it's still a waste of a heal, but I mean, it's not a gross waste of one.
No. Katana, 1 hit. Oh, there goes the black mage. I'm 61 from that katana, so let's see what Masa does here. 5 hits for 959. Oh boy, Tiamat's feeling it now. That comes out with a paltry 100 damage, and there's the katana for 177. Down goes Tia 2.
Now, if you're Zyrak, do you bother raising the black mage?
100% you do at this point. You want that fast cast for chaos. But of course, we're going to get stopped and held up by some iron gulls, things that have obnoxiously huge absorb. This could be annoying. Oh boy, and they're picking on that white mage. The worst thing that could happen right now is this white mage goes down to these iron gulls. They hit hard. They have big absorb. This could be a problem. Alright, they're picking on the fighter. He can take some hit. Oh boy, and they've got some HP too.
This could be like a morale breaker. Just you get so far, you beat the second incarnation of the fiends. Chaos is right there, and then suddenly his bodyguards just say, heck no.
Yeah, the bouncers tell you to go home and try again. Alright, he's got one of them down. As long as that white mage can stay... No, don't bring them. Oh. As long as that white mage can stay alive, he'll be alright. I don't know if it would have been worth burning that Cure 4 from the Knight. That was his last Cure 4 charge on that Knight. You're going to want to run out of Cure 4s on that white mage before you run out of Cure 4s on that Knight.
I'm not super sure it's going to matter a whole lot, because, I mean, if the Knight's not swinging every turn after buffing, it's not doing a whole lot useful.
Yeah, but anytime, if this gets down to one-man strats and you're relying on, you know, you versus, you know, Knight versus Chaos, a Knight with a Cure 4 charge can absolutely save himself. You know, by that time you'll probably come down to have already gotten your defenses out. You can buff a little longer.
I was gonna say I would definitely put that Knight behind some things.
Oh, that black mage should be at the front being ready. Once this black mage casts fast, it has no purpose to exist anymore, really. Alright, so here we go. Chaos pulled. 229. Here we go. Fog 2 out. Buffing up that. Got our fast. Got our power bomb. Got our temper. So
Chaos gets fast. Oh no.
Fast. Oh boy, we might want to start thinking about getting that defense sword out here. Because if he starts punching, it could be a problem. Whoa comes out onto the ninja. Ninja swings, 2 hits, 115, both crits. Not horrible.
Chaos caster rub doesn't do anything.
Quad X, that's no. We got pro rings. Where we got, right?
Chaos just absolutely wants people to die, but it's not working.
No. Yeah, fast into rub. That's a bad call, Chaos. You got to think better than that. 6 hits, 818. All right, this Moss is putting in work. I think he's going to be okay here. He's got the damage output from this Masa is huge right now. He's even swinging with a Thor's hammer. He doesn't care. He's going to throw out the second AoE cast from a mage we've seen all day. Another nuke comes out. Stopped from Chaos. Ineffective across the board. Masa comes out. 5 hits, 662. Terminated. There we go. Finally, the 2 hour, 31 minute mark. It's over. It's finally over. GG's to Zyrak. Get them out there, people. Wow.
After 2.5 hours, seeing that your opponent still hasn't thrown out that done, you've got to feel pretty good.
Yeah, oh man. And this is probably one of those few times where even Lord of the Synth has probably looked down and just gone, thank God my opponent has put that out there. Wow, what a seed. What an absolute troll seed. And to think that whole time we were going, you know what, you're going to need levels, you're going to need this, and Topher played nice. Thankfully.
That's because all the hell was in front, so all you had at the end was heaven.
Those fiends all roll on their own individual scripts, and we didn't see any of it. So everything must have gone to Lich and Warmech, who we didn't see anything of because Kraken didn't even hit all that hard. Tiamat did nothing but soft punches. Like, nuclear from a carry was the scariest thing we saw.
Oh no, thunder from carry was the scariest thing. That killed at least a couple people.
From carry 2, I mean, in particular.
Carry 2, yeah, that was like the fiends were pretty much a and we got the Beatles on the
There's the
side.
Beatles. There, he's pointing out, remember, this is who I named them after. What a seed, what a seed, what a seed. I really don't know how much time we're going to have for interviews, if they're going to be coming in for like literally 2 minutes. We've been holding Randomania for quite a while on this, but we'll see if they're going to jump up and join us for a quick second or not.
Getting a report that Warmech apparently had 3 nukes, so that's obviously where all the hell went.
Oh, good God, Gouda. Thank you. Yeah, that's fun. Makes sense. Seems about right. Yeah, that was fantastic. What a great. This just shows you when you've seen seeds where you're playing for, an hour and people are finishing out because everything lands. You've got the magic, you've got the weapons, you've got the items. This was literally, here's some AoE casting spells. I hope you can win with them because there was nothing else for a long time.
Looks like Chaos also had double nuclear, but I don't think that would have really inhibited much. Didn't look like nuclear was hitting all that hard.
Wow, but that would have been one of those situations where if he had that Cure 4 charge that he had saved there, it would have been really, really good because he'd have been able to negate that pretty quickly. But what's done is done. Zyrak moves to 2 and 2, bumping Lord of the Synth down to 1 and 3, and we are joined by Lord of the Synth here. GG's, man. That was something.
The actual.
Yeah.
What the actual ...
Yeah.
Profanity of your choice.
Yeah, that's how, when you're sitting there and running through, and Zyrak joining us, so GG's to him. I guess I'll throw this out since you got here first. You guys are both sitting there and you're looking at, herbs over in Mirage, which leads to your canoe, which you both didn't get till well past the hour mark, and the floater sitting in mermaids, which unfortunately, Synth, you never even got there. Like, what?
Yeah, I was on my way in. To full clear C. I figured floater was going to be somewhere in there. It was the loose item. It was the thing I needed. But yeah, I didn't go to Mirage earlier because the magic just wasn't there. I should have actually rerolled my party when I saw level 3 had nothing. But yeah, what the hell?
Zyrak, you were going through, you made the early Mirage play, that pays off, but then there's a long time between finding that canoe and finding that floater. How scary is that getting for you?
Awful. I after the early Mirage into Herb, like, I felt good about that, but then I full cleared Gurgu Volcano, Earth Cave, and Marsh Cave before I got anything else. I was like, well, I just did like 3 full clears for nothing. Like, I have to be miles behind.
I made the early Marsh play, and I got hung up for like 25 minutes. But I found the ribbon in there, and I found enough cash to basically grind a little bit and get the adamant. So I beat my head against it.
Yeah, that was what I was going to ask, was you spent a good chunk of time, and even after you got the knowledge of the full clear, you then decided to stick around for probably another 3 or 4 goes before you could finally actually pull that ribbon out. I guess you really valued it that highly, eh?
And then that
I
5,000
really wanted
gold
that
chest,
ribbon.
too.
Yes.
Yeah, that's finding. I mean, both of you in the early game saw, but you in particular, Synth, saw being in Marsh for that long. You found those Thunderbones and those cracked gargoyles that just seemed to run amok on you.
Yeah, and you saw me pause for like 30 seconds a couple times, and I was sitting there. I was like, do I come back later? Where's the floater? Which was pretty remote.
Yeah, Zyrak, you had a black mage named Dan, and he managed to stay alive the whole game. Given the fact of how absolutely atrocious Magic was, were you ever thinking, I just got to bring this to 3-man and just go with melee strats?
If Temper wasn't at 4th tier, yeah, probably. But basically, I was like, if I can keep the Black Mage alive with enough charges to Temper, I don't have to power grind the Knight as much. So that's the strat I went with and tried to just get my experience on the way. I got lucky in Mirage Tower with a lot of good encounters, but I had basically nothing in Sea Shrine. So I was like, I am so fragile going into Topher. Thankfully, other than nuclear on one of the bosses, that there wasn't a whole lot in there, thankfully. But yeah, it was scary going through Topher for sure.
Yeah, that was what we were kind of saying, was with how many scripts we saw that were not pleasant. It mustn't have been a good feeling, thinking like, oh man, do I got to get up to 30 here to have a chance to finish out this final dungeon?
So, I couldn't decide which mage to kill. I was running rainbow mages, and because of Temper and Fast, and then you had Cure 4 and Heal 3 and Life 2 all low levels. So I couldn't make a call on whether to let the white mage die and make do with the red, or vice versa for the black. But yeah, what a seed.
Yeah, I wanted I was running fighter white black thief. I wanted the ability to be able to run away in the mid game, because I think my last couple of seeds, that's the thing that really slaughtered me, was I couldn't run away from anything and I kept getting gibbed in all the encounters. And I wanted him dead earlier, but he just like refused to die throughout the first part of the seed, and then by the time the end of it ran around, I wanted him tanking stuff, so it was never really happened.
Yeah. My intuition is the seed. You had to gamble on doing a 3-man. I was looking for a tile to grind the fighter on,
right?
and I wasn't finding anything.
No.
That's actually the next. Yeah, we didn't see a single grind tile out of either of you that would have been worthy of taking a grind to power level them with anyway.
The only tile that I even remotely considered was there was a worm wyvern one somewhere, but by the time I found it, it was not worth enough.
I think the only real grinding we saw out of either of you was some early imp grinding before hitting Garland.
I made some. I didn't actually do that. I bought fire on both the red mage and the black mage and took him out that way. I was super happy to see the early Thor hammer though.
Yeah, that AoE magic, I made a joke that at like the 2-hour mark was the first time we actually saw a mage cast an AoE when Zyrak cast Nuke. That was legitimately the first time we saw an AoE come out of a mage and not out of an item.
Yeah, Ice 2 level 5 and Nuke level 6. I didn't start using those till very, very late.
Yeah, I think at this point, though, given the time we've been at, and I know both of you probably want a lot of time to just, shall we say, cleanse the palate of this seed, I think we're going to wrap it up here. I want to say thank you very much to both you, Lord of the Synth, Zyrak, for providing some great entertainment, co-commentator Sunny for Gouda restreaming, for Burt Reynolds, who did the tracking for us behind the scenes. This has been... Well, if you're new to Randomizer, this is not how it always goes.
This is definitely one of the worst seeds I've played. It's certainly the worst Magic randomization I've ever seen.
Yeah, this is not exactly how all the races go. We have ones that are a little more, shall we say, sped up for you, that it's all decision making and that, whereas opposed to just making you slog through. But once again, for everybody here on the crew, for our racers, for everybody here, we're going to give this channel back. Good night, everybody. My name is Ilmar Zubermuller, and we shall see you all next time.